Hey everybody, how you doing? You are here. You're here early. Congrats. Welcome to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. We're going to get the show started in just a minute. Oh my goodness, folks. It's a great show today. I'm very excited to get into it. You'll notice we have a dog here today. You might, that's right, Codageddon the World Eater might make a few barking appearances. He's been very vocal today, but you know what? It's just all part of the fun around here. A couple of quick little updates. I have refreshed all of the links over on CanaryCry.Party. So the Discord invite should work in case that wasn't working for some people. The Odyssey link has been updated, all sorts of stuff. So head over to CanaryCry.Party and you can, get back into the zone, baby. You'll notice all sorts of fun new little, LINKTREE updates that we're taking advantage of. Also, the text message and the newsletter have gone out, the alerts to let people know that the show is starting. Even to our most enthusiastic newsletter recipients, sometimes the newsletter ends up in spam. So if you want to make sure that you get that, go seek it out now in your spam folder, and then make sure to change the settings, whitelist the address, or tell Google that you actually want to receive the newsletter, stuff like that. That'll help you get alerts in the future. All right, folks. Well, we're gonna get going here, so buckle your seatbelts and stay hydrated. It's a good old time.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. We are live to tape on March 9th, 2022. This is episode 456. And today, tinfoil oil and razzle dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And we jump right into Ukraine.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
New world order.
The saga continues, and I think we're starting out with a clip. Yes, Gonz?
Yeah, this is President Biden yesterday making his announcement about oil.
Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine. We're moving forward with this ban, understanding that many of our European allies and partners may not be in a position to join us. The United States produces far more oil domestically than all the European countries combined. In fact, we're a net exporter of energy. So we can take this step when others cannot. But we're working closely with Europe and our partners to develop a long-term strategy to reduce their dependence on Russian energy as well. Our teams are actively discussing how to make this happen, and today we remain united. We remain united in our purpose.
He couldn't say united. He tried twice.
United.
Yeah,
cool.
It's tough. Yeah.
Teams are actively discussing how to make this happen, and today we remain united. We remain united in our purpose to keep pressure mounting on Putin and his war machine. This is a step that we're taking to inflict further pain on Putin. but there will be cost as well here in the United States. I said I would level with the American people from the beginning. And when I first spoke to this, I said defending freedom is going to cost. It's going to cost us as well in the United States. Republicans and Democrats understand that. Republicans and Democrats alike have been clear that we must do this. I know there's a lot of questions, but there's a lot more that has to be made clear, and I'm going to hold on that until we get more information. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Was that an edit?
I did. I cut it till the end because there was a whole bunch of stuff that he just kind of rambles on for about 10 minutes. But it's fascinating to think because we've been hearing a lot about China and Russia collecting gold for years now, and how they've wanted to drop the dollar for years. So it's just interesting how they've been working to do it, and all of a sudden U.S. is like, sanctions on Russia. It's very convenient. It's like, it's kind of like getting fired and resigning. You know what I mean? Like the difference between like, oh, you're being fired, which is what the U.S. is saying, when Russia's kind of been resigning from the U.S. dollar this whole time. So anyway,
okay, yeah. Oh, you mean just in the context of the petrodollar, the reserve currency, that kind of thing? Yeah. Well, this is a really tough situation because obviously, importing Russian oil is going to cause the supply and demand ratio of gas in the U.S. to shift in one direction or the other. But it is kind of ironic. And isn't that how geopolitics works? On one hand, we're trying to condemn and unify the world against Russia, at the same time, helping to fuel the economy over there while trying to sabotage it in other ways. So in a sense, there is an aspect of turning off Russian oil imports that is painful, but has sort of an unusual sense of cohesion, and unusual for the Biden administration to have sort of a cohesive policy on almost anything that makes sense from start to finish. So it's hard to get mad at it, except with the knowledge that, hey, yeah, gas is going to continue to become more and more expensive by the day. But on the other hand,
it's got nothing to do with inflation either, by the way.
Sure,
wink, wink.
Right. Well, that's exactly right. I mean, part of the cohesiveness of this plan is that it does also continue to hide the sort of economic sins of the Biden administration, which is a win-win. So it's really a win-win-win, except for the American people, who at the same time that they are being encouraged to go back into the office, to start commuting again, to go, to drive every day to go back into work because we're getting back to work, and the downtown businesses, need the business of the people in the office buildings. But instead, we get to say that. But then we get to price people out of traveling altogether. It's kind of like a roundabout, sneaky way to keep people at home.
Yep.
While encouraging people to go back to work. It's kind of annoyingly complicated.
Well, we talked about it just briefly before we went on air, but it's kind of like hot potato. Whatever issue is holding the hot potato, they got to do something about it, and then they'll pass it to someone else. It was COVID for a while that kept everybody home. Now it's moved on to inflation. Not inflation. Inflation was kind of the glue, but the bridge to take us to Russia.
It's just transient. It's just
transitory.
It'll go away.
Yeah, they said that for about a year, and then they dropped that. Oh, we shouldn't call it transitory anymore. There's a problem, and then just in the nick of time, war between Russia and Ukraine. Very convenient. Gas prices go up. Everybody stay home. You can't afford to go out anyway. And then if I'm in, me in California, I'm going to be I'm going to be taxed higher because I have a gas guzzling vehicle.
Yeah,
that's where this is all headed, which is not good.
And that's the thing, gas prices essentially are just like a tax on the middle class and lower
listening
classes.
To Trump?
No, why? Is Trump saying something?
Oh yeah, Trump has there's a throwback clip going around from Trump's campaign in 2020 against Joe Biden.
We have more oil than anybody, okay? And it's an incredible thing that it's happened over the last few years, a lot of great things, and you're paying, what, $2 a gallon for your gasoline? That's okay. You know what that's like? That's like a tax cut. That's bigger than a tax cut. If Biden got in, you'd be paying $7, $8, $9. Then they say, get rid of your car.
There it is. There it is. Get rid of your car.
Wow, that's interesting. I did not listen to that. Did not listen to that clip. Yeah, well, Trump's he's on the train. Yeah, gas prices are a tax on the middle and lower classes.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm interested to see how this affects. Obviously, this is affecting the demand and the supply and demand ratio, but it will increase demand for U.S. Origin oil, which is a boon. That's a great boon for the U.S. oil companies. Where?
Because we have a large export, right, of oil. Where are we sending that oil?
Not large. It's not oil. No, we don't. Well, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but oil is not a huge export. But we do export other types of energy.
Okay.
I think we export natural gas. Other things like that. We probably export some oil, but it's not like a main part of our
According to the system. EIA Gov, it says that it imported 5.8 million BD of crude oil and exported 3 million BD. So
it's weird.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, that's an example of more sort of financial tomfoolery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, why would we export oil while at the same time we have to import it? And who knows what forms that's taking too. We could be importing crude, exporting refined. I don't really know, so I'm not going to claim to be an expert. But it is weird.
The headline of this article from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, published February 6th, 2020, is, despite the U.S. becoming a net petroleum exporter, most regions are still net importers. Yeah, so I think we do have a large export. I'm just curious where it goes, and like America's, you said, in what form?
A big place,
yeah. So
and that's a good example of the sort of globalized economy that this weird sort of abomination of a national economy that we have. It's like we do need oil in places that don't have it in the U.S., and yet we are exporting it and then importing it again. I mean, maybe there's a game being played where we're exporting it at prices that are higher than we're importing it, you know?
A little arbitrage going on, maybe?
A little bit of arbitrage, yeah. But I'm not an expert. I'm done commenting on that. But there you go. So there's a 45-day ramp down period for this plan of Biden's. So we technically will still be importing Russian gas for 45 days. So you can start to see those movements in oil prices and gas prices at the pump move probably pretty significantly over the next 45 days.
Yeah, very interesting.
On the same sort of news cycle here, we have a story coming from WBNBC/CBS. This is 10tv.com. It is a local station for
CBS outlet.
Yeah, Columbus, Ohio. And this was a very interesting development that started to rear its head yesterday. The headline is U.S. rejects Poland's offer for Soviet-era fighter jets for Ukraine to use. And it goes like this. The Pentagon on Tuesday rejected Poland's surprise announcement that it would give the United States its MiG-29 fighter jets for use by Ukraine, a rare display of disharmony by NATO allies seeking to boost Ukrainian fighters while avoiding getting caught in a wider war with Russia. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said Poland's declaration that it intended to deliver the 28 jets to the U.S. Ramstein Air Base in Germany raised the concerning prospect of warplanes departing from a U.S. and NATO base to fly into airspace contested with Russia in the Ukraine conflict. Quote, we will continue to consult with Poland and our other NATO allies about this issue and the difficult logistical challenges it presents. But we do not believe Poland's proposal is a tenable one, Kirby said in a statement. The proposed gift of more warplanes would be a morale booster for Ukraine's under pounding Russian assault for nearly 2 weeks. But it also raises the risk of the war expanding beyond Ukraine. Russia has declared that supporting Ukraine's air force would be tantamount to joining the war and could spur retaliation. White House officials were blindsided by the Polish announcements on the Migs. The proposal did not come up during talks with Secretary of State Antony Blinken when he was recently in Poland, according to a U.S. official familiar with the talks. The U.S. official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity, said the White House officials did not think the proposal would easily solve the logistical challenges of providing aircraft to Ukraine. U.S. Undersecretary of State Victoria Nuland told lawmakers at a hearing on the Ukraine crisis Tuesday she learned of Poland's plans only while driving to the hearing. Quote, "To my knowledge, it wasn't pre-consulted with us," Nuland told senators. Ukraine has been pleading for more warplanes as it resists mightier Russian forces. Washington has been looking at a proposal under which Poland would supply Ukraine with the MiG-29s and in turn receive American F-16s to make up for their loss. Ukrainian pilots are trained to fly the Soviet-era fighter jets. The Polish Foreign Ministry announced the plan in a statement, which said the jets would be delivered to Ramstein free of charge. Quote, "At the same time, Poland requests the United States to provide us with used aircraft with corresponding operational capabilities," it said. The Polish government also appealed to other owners of MiG-29 jets to follow suit. And it goes through a list of sort of other Soviet sort of Soviet era countries that fly these jets that could donate them. But this is a fun part for Kamala. Poland publicly floated its plan the day before Vice President Kamala Harris is scheduled to depart for Warsaw for talks with Polish officials. The disconnect is likely to add an awkward layer to the talks. Ooh, sorry, Kamala. It's going to be so awkward. Which were expected to focus largely on U.S. efforts to help Poland and other Eastern European nations that have taken in some 2 million refugees since the war started. Additional air defense capabilities are the number one priority for Ukraine's military right now. The country's defense attaché in Washington, Major General Boris Kremenitsky, told the Associated Press on Tuesday after returning from a meeting at the Pentagon, quote, "It can be ground-based air defense systems. It can be fighter jets, whatever possible," he said. And it goes on and kind of explains the situation with these MiGs. So the long story short is, first of all, Poland had bandied about this idea of donating aircraft to Ukraine, but initially said, hey, we need these aircraft. Who knows what Russia's plans are next? So, we want to help you. We want to help you any way we can, but we kind of need our own planes. And that's part of why the deal was, hey, we'll give you the MiGs, but hey, U.S., you got to give us some F-16s because we need to be able to defend ourselves as well. And the reason these MiGs are so important is mainly because the Ukraine pilots don't know how to fly anything else but MiGs. MiGs are these Russian airplanes that are pretty popular in militaries, especially in Eastern Europe. But yeah, the pilots can't fly anything else.
Aren't they old too? Aren't they like 40, 50 years old?
Oh, I don't know if these individual planes are that old, but MiGs are sort of a legacy, fighter jet from Russia. Kind of like our F series, you got your F-16s, you got your F-22s, you got your all sorts of Fs over here. But yeah, Poland out of nowhere comes out with a surprise change of heart saying, yeah, we'll donate these MiGs, but we're not going to give them to Ukraine directly. We're going to give them to the U.S. and then the U.S. can give them to Ukraine, which is kind of I think this is more of like a PR stunt than anything. Because there's a lot of problems, and I've heard some great sort of long-form analysis of this issue. But the problem is you can't really get these MiGs into the country because first of all, if the Migs are not armed as they fly into the country, they'll probably just get shot down by Russia the second they cross the airspace border there. But if they are armed, now you have armed warplanes flying into Ukraine from a U.S. and NATO base, which technically it would be some sort of provocation, if not an outright act of war, which would then put Russia in the position of needing to not just shoot down the planes, but actively declare, war on the U.S. or NATO or something. So it could trigger some sort of domino effect. Now, the other option, so there's no way to get the planes to Ukraine without triggering some sort of issue. You could put the planes on trucks or something and try to drive them in. But there's so many problems with that, especially with the Russian military on the ground as we speak. So this is not really a possibility. But Poland kind of gets the kudos, the brownie points for saying that they will make MiGs available, even though they know pretty well that it's an impossibility. And I think that's why they did it as sort of a surprise announcement, so they can, get the kudos, get the brownie points, look like they want to do as much as they can, knowing that this is not going to work.
Won't do. Yeah. Is it possible to deconstruct one of these MiGs and then reconstruct them across the border?
That's an interesting idea.
Multiple untraceable shipments across the border there.
Little CIA Bible delivery with jet parts hidden in it.
Bibles.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's possible. But yeah.
Meanwhile, there's tanks, parts in there that have Poland, and then a sticker over it that says U.S., and then a sticker over it that says NATO,
and then the sticker over that says China,
Ukraine, China. Yeah. Oh man.
From China, love Trump. Yeah. So it's a complicated situation, and not only is it complicated, but it's kind of created some tension.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's this
not
disharmony.
The united front that Biden keeps talking about is the perception anyway is that there's some scuffle within, which shows weakness in the world stage.
Right. People, NATO countries surprising each other, pulling little stunts on each other.
They're not as organized. Well, you never know. I mean, you never know if Poland is, playing two sides. You know what I mean?
And you never know that. See, I barely believe Victoria Nuland when she says this was a surprise.
Yeah. By the way.
Part of me thinks that this whole thing could be some sort of ruse, some sort of theater, to give some sort of psychological impression to Putin.
Sure.
So we don't know exactly what's going on, but it was bigger news than I feel like people gave it credit for.
Yep. And the news that nobody's talking about.
Aliens. Where are the aliens?
Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Speaking of weird psyops regarding Ukraine, what is this?
This is from ibtimes.co.in. So this is International Business Times. So not...
there are some reasons to believe that International Business Times is straight up a legit, actual, full-on CIA propaganda outlet. Which I don't have the sources to kind of lay it out now, but there are some suspect things about IB Times. but don't take my word for it. Let's hear what they have to say.
Let them speak for themselves.
Yeah.
The headline here is UFO attacked Russian forces and set ablaze tanks, says CBN News' Ukraine director.
Oh, this is some sort of archived footage from maybe World War II or something?
Maybe. As Russia's continuing its killing spree and attack in Ukraine, CBN News' Ukraine director Konstantin Litvinenko has claimed that a UFO which appeared from nowhere unleashed an attack on Russian tanks. Ukrainians prayed and UFO appeared.
So they're saying this happened now.
Yeah, Litvinenko made these claims while talking on the channel's The Global Lane program. According to Litvinenko, one young man called his father over the phone as Russian troops neared him with deadly weapons. The father apparently prayed to God to protect people belonging to his church, and the helping hand came from the outside world. According to Litvinenko, a UFO appeared from nowhere, and it launched a lightning attack on Russian forces and set ablaze a military tank, Daily Star reports. Alien debate on, even though an official confirmation is yet to be made. Netizens, like citizens on the net, netizens, have warmly welcomed the claims, and they believe that these events are solid proof of alien existence on Earth. Earlier, several self-styled alien hunters, including Scott C. Waring, had claimed that aliens have been visiting the Earth for hundreds of years to monitor human activities. Aliens are refraining humans from engaging in a nuclear war, and they used to proclaim their presence during the time of natural disasters and wars. Waring once wrote on his website. A few months back, Haim Eshed, a former Israeli space security chief, had also claimed that extraterrestrial existence on Earth is real. Eshed also made it clear that world powers like the United States and Israel are working closely with an advanced alien species. Yeah. So, throwback to some older stuff we've covered. Israel's alien talks are really interesting because not just some of the eschatology that I currently subscribe to in terms of the Antichrist and its identity in the end times and all that, but because certain leaders from Israel have said, and I've documented for years, how they claim like they're part of the aliens, like we were sent here, we're part of bringing light to the earth, and then everybody. Yeah,
the Israelites are some sort of aliens. Are the aliens. They claim that they are.
Right.
That's not some anti-Semitic thing. That's some. It's to be fair, it's some sort of. Isn't it like some small sect of rabbis?
It is. It's not. Yeah, it's not like something they announce.
It's not like a commonly held belief.
No, it's a couple rabbis or whatever, but definitely people that are within the, some of the religious infrastructure over there. So in that conversation about Israel's role in all of this turmoil with Ukraine and Russia, and we've touched on it last episode, but also with pre-existing conflicts in Crimea and things like that, just all having to do maybe not directly, but always indirectly with Israel. So something to keep in mind. But also, this the claim here about the alien coming down and helping out the Ukrainians against the Russian soldiers. I mean, this sounds like really well-crafted fringe propaganda to really see who they can round up with.
Propaganda. Gonz, how dare you call this propaganda?
Oh,
this
please.
Is obviously true.
Okay.
And but here's my theory. There's the theory about aliens getting involved, especially when it comes to nuclear powers. They get involved to not let nukes fly because they're protecting us from ourselves, that sort of thing. I mean, the other side of that is, of course, the sort of black budget secret military programs of the United States after Operation Paperclip, and the ex-Nazi scientists helped us create the UFO magnetic anti-gravity propulsion systems. And maybe we have our own UFO technologies, and it's our way of sort of helping the Ukrainians out without revealing our hands. It's these aren't U.S. F-22s or whatever,
right?
Coming in and carpet
Hillary
bombing.
And Obama in the lizard. In their lizard form.
This is our secret lizard people technology that we're getting involved fighting the war without having to let the human citizens know that we're involved. This is a U.S.-based black budget technology attack here.
What was there was a really famous UFO disarms a nuclear plant story. I think it was from the UK or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but it's a theme.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly either. I thought it was Russian. But yeah, where they were getting ready to either test a nuke or they had their finger hovering over the button in some Cold War, tense moment. And then a UFO showed up and shut down the electricity in the silo and prevented everything, something like that, right?
Yeah, it looks like there was one in Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana, 1967.
Oh,
that's
Montana.
One event. Yeah. And there are other ones. I know there was one in Russia too. Like it's kind of a common story from the.
It's a motif.
The motif from the 20th century when it comes to UFO appearances. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because that was all the fear. The nuke fear was throughout that whole century there. So
nuke fear.
Yeah, you're right. It could be our technology, or
it's much more of a fun. It's much more exciting to think of it that way.
Yeah. The heroes.
Biden is just like, activate the UFOs. Go get them. Go get them, UFOs.
Go get them.
Go get them.
Yeah, and that context would put all of their anti-Russia, anti-Putin talks in a very sincere light. I mean, you can say that they're lying, but no, they're really not. They're jumping into their UFOs and zapping the Russian army to protect innocent Ukrainians. So
yeah, a new level of America world police there.
Yeah.
Well, that's very exciting. I want more reporting on this, not just one Daily Star, Daily Mail.
Aliens.
What was the source on this one?
International Business Times.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm telling you, man, I think it's the CIA propaganda. It's the CIA. Even if it didn't really happen, the CIA is progressing the Great Delusion.
I like some of their other trending now stories, which, there's a couple, stuff sinking in Antarctica, which is okay. And then also human leg on Mars. Alien hunter shows proof. Skeptics call it pareidolia. It looks like a cartoon leg. It looks like a cartoon leg. It does not look like a human leg.
What's the message being? You got the Martians. They're like, how can we invite the Earthlings to come visit Mars? Well, these leg things. They help them move around their planet.
Yeah, they show them a leg. Here you go.
That is so weird. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. There's some of the more exciting things happening at the top of the show. We've got more news about Ukraine and Russia. We're going to be diving into a little bit more details about the BIOLAB issue later on. So stick around. But there you go. I guess what day is it, Gonz? I'm looking at my watch and I'm realizing I'm not wearing a watch. And it also, watches don't tell days.
It is Wednesday, my dude.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the CanaryCry News Talk. Yeehaw!
There you go. Okay.
Banjo.
It looks like we took the advice of whoever our previous celebrity Wednesday jingle, or who was it? Sam Elliott? Was he the one that said combine them? I forget. We're trying to please everyone. So, it's Wednesday, my dudes. Welcome to the show. Very exciting. Gonz, you got any personal notes anybody needs to know about?
Yeah. Bit of a sad note. I don't know. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it is very sad, actually.
I had asked for prayer on Monday for my father-in-law, who was, having some issues with night terrors and things like that. And his health has been down for a while. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, we had, it was a big thing at our church this weekend to call for prayer for him too, for comfort and healing and all that kind of stuff. And then yesterday morning, which was Tuesday morning, he passed away. So he was 89 years old. So, he lived a full life, but unfortunate situation there, but thank you for all the prayers. And, we asked for comfort and healing, and I think that's what it was, with this whole situation and him passing. So Very sad. That's why the wife's down with the rest of the family. That's why I have the dog here. So the dog might make an appearance.
Well, we're all very sorry to hear that, but it's a sad time in the Shimura family right now. But so we'll get the producers on the job, continue to pray for comfort and healing now for the family, because it's never easy, even though some of the things he was dealing with make it incredibly hard on the people taking care of him.
Yeah.
So there can be an aspect of mixed emotions, extreme grief mixed with some possibility of comfort and relief.
Yeah, comfort and relief. Yeah. And I think, especially for my mother-in-law, the day-to-day is somewhat of a relief just because it was so hard on her. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's my wife's dad,
Yeah.
So
it's not fun. It's not easy. And so, yes, of course, we'll give all of our Canarian love to your wife as well, and be praying for your whole family, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. You bet. And with that, I don't really have any personal news. Oh, you'll notice I don't have my bandage on my finger.
Oh, good. Did you get the aliens?
My razor. Yes,
to come heal you. The lightning strike from the UFO.
Yeah, the generative dermatology laser that used the nanobots. My razor blade slice is healing, and I am happy to say that I do not think I'm going to get tetanus.
Oh, good.
Yes, no swelling, no redness, no infections. And thank you for everybody who gave me lots of information about tetanus shots and things like that. I was worried, but there you go. My finger is back in action. And other than that,
all right.
Yeah. It was my middle finger too. So, that's not what this show, we don't do that on this show, but
day-to-day life is a different thing, I guess, huh? Is that what you're saying?
You never know, somebody cuts you off in traffic or something. Anyways, and with that, we want to thank a couple of our executive producers who are responsible for allowing this show to continue. They are the executive producers who have made big contributions to making this episode happen of Canary Cry News Talk, episode 456 through the value for value model, which biasly rejects advertisements, affiliate codes, partnerships, corporate money, things like that. Can independent media truly be independent when they are under the influence of corporate money and corporate influence? No, I don't think so. That's why we're on the value for value model. And people who support this show are people who are joining the revolution, waking up from the gaslighting and the brainwashing that the advertising global theology should decide the value of our independent media. Instead, we take some personal responsibility to keep the media going that we appreciate and want to see more of. And that's why we thank these executive producers, Gonz. Why don't we hit them with that jingle?
Executive producers.
Here we go. And I want to give two big shout outs to our executive producers for this episode 456, starting with executive producer I Am Clay Now.
I Am Clay Now is an executive producer.
Where'd you find this?
And additionally, we have executive producer Dustin H.
Dustin Hoffman is in the house.
Where'd you find this?
I like doing Hook.
Yeah, my favorite Dustin Hoffman is Hook for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dustin Hoffman. And I Am Clay Now for executive producing.
Yes.
We will thank you some more during the producer break. And remember out there, folks, say a little prayer for our executive producers, because they they're taking on a big a heavy load keeping this show together, as well as the rest of our producers will think in the first break. But that does it for today.
All right. Flippy, right?
Yeah. You know who this show wouldn't be the same without? Also, Gonz. You know him. You love him. It's Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's time for the Flippy update. If you don't know, let me learn you something. Ooh, I just bit my tongue. That's nice. So now this is how I talk for the rest of the show. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. And someday, perhaps, they'll be our best friends. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, our Flippy update is coming from dispatch.com. That's the Columbus Dispatch, and it's in the business section. Ooh. And the headline is Nationwide teams up in testing home assistant robots to help seniors stay in their homes. Mm-hmm. And it goes like this. Nationwide wants to know if a new generation of personal robots can help people stay at home as they age or face health issues. The Columbus Insurance and Financial Services Company has struck a partnership with robotics company Labrador Systems, which is developing robots designed to assist people moving items around their home. Nationwide sees the robots as a way to help people live well in retirement by allowing them to live longer in their homes. In addition to providing...
Stay in your house longer. Here's a robot.
Isn't that it's crazy how that's a theme that is manifesting in so many different ways. Ooh, I just dropped my controller. In addition to providing support for their caregivers. So it's not just for the elderly, but it's also for the caregivers of the elderly. Everyone wants to stay at home, said Bobby Joe Allen, Nationwide Innovation Vice President.
No, they don't. When was this interview taken? Was this taken in the middle of the scamdemic?
No, this is just everybody loves it. We want to stay home. Nobody wants to leave.
Bobby Joe Allen, if that is your real name.
It's Bobitron Joe Allentron.
Mm-hmm. Bojo.
Yeah. Everyone wants to stay home, said Bobby Joe Allen, Nationwide Innovation Vice President. Quote, if this is something that can help people do that longer, that feels like a win for all involved. Quote, including the insurance company, which won't have to pay for the elderly home or whatever.
Right.
Quote, what we're looking at is not to replace the caregiver.
That's what they all say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, remember, veteran Flippy update listeners will know that it's always under the guise of working with humans, not replacing them. Labrador's CEO, that's Mike Dooley. Quote, but how do you be an extension of the caregiver? How do you extend their impact? Mm-hmm. By robot assistance, of course. Mm-hmm. How the Labrador robot works. Nationwide is sponsoring a cross-country tour of the robots to study their use in a variety of settings, from senior living communities to rehab programs to individual homes. Terms of the relationship between Nationwide and the Labrador Systems are not disclosed. Ooh, secret smoky room dealings. The sponsorship is part of a string of investments Nationwide is making in innovation. That includes the $350 million that it has committed to venture capital investments, primarily in startups and insurance and finance. The robots, short with a rectangular top, resemble the R2-D2 robot from Star Wars. No, they don't. Not at all, but okay. One model called Retriever can adjust in height from 25 to 38 inches. The other model, called Caddy, is 30 inches tall, basically the height of a table. Thank you. Thank you, Columbus Dispatch. The robot, responding to commands from an app on a smartphone or tablet, can move to customized stations called bus stops in a house or apartment, carrying, for example, a laundry basket or bringing drinks or snacks. The bus stops are typically set up at spots such as near the kitchen sink, by the front door, and near the washer and dryer. The robot can operate either on demand or on a preset schedule by automatically delivering items at a specific time and location. Just as Labrador retrievers are one of the top breeds for assistant animals, the robot is meant to be a companion, a loyal assistant that takes commands and is by the side of the person using it, said Dooley. At the same time, the robot will retrieve and carry items that are needed like a retriever would. Okay, they're really spelling it out for us, Gonz.
Leaning in.
It can maneuver around obstacles as it goes from one location to a next. Quote, this robot is meant to be lower than the person. Deep. Either in height.
Not just physically, but emotionally, socioeconomically, spiritually.
It's meant to be a by their side companion. And for some reason, my browser just jumped about 3/4 of the page down. Not dominating over them, Dooley said. This robot is meant to be lower than the person. It's meant to be their side companion, not dominating over them.
Yeah, so I like how they don't say servant or like slave or something. It's just, it's just lower.
I love, they're trying to get ahead of people thinking that this robot is going to take over their household and become their new daddy. No. This robot isn't to dominate you. Don't worry. Sorry, I cut you off. What'd you have to say?
No, it's okay. I think I finished what I was saying. I was just pointing out the absurdity here.
Yeah, the company was partly inspired by Dooley's mother, who struggled carrying items around the house when she began to use a cane. Wouldn't it be easier if she could just move herself around the house and had a device that could help remove the things she needed, he wondered. Quote, once you're in pain, it's not feeling safe, Dooley said. It's a different world.
Yeah, the shape of these things, because it kind of, it's about the size of like a tray kind of thing, this would be perfect for airplanes, instead of the stewardess and stewards.
Yeah. I believe they're now called sky hostesses.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was born in the 80s, a little old fashioned there, but it's one of those items that would really replace, because it's thinner, you don't have human bodies moving around.
Sure.
So,
anyway. And they made no attempt to sort of do this robot is like you. It doesn't have a face. It doesn't have a voice. It doesn't have voice commands. And in that regard, I think it's very well suited to immediate commercial use.
Yeah. No baggage.
Exactly. None of the social engineering baggage, none of the sort of existential, are robots going to take over my home baggage. And they're so confident and ready for it that they're targeting the second half of 2023. So it should be out in a little over a year. It'll cost $1,500, which is incredibly affordable for something like this. Let's see here.
I would not want to be part of putting together a team for the help desk of any of these tech robot innovations happening.
Listen to this. Meanwhile, a 2021 nationwide survey, and that's Capital Nationwide, it's a survey from the insurance company, found that 88% of those surveyed agreed it is more important than ever to stay in their homes as long as possible.
Again, I feel like they're just taking surveys from like the middle of the pandemic or something and applying it to now. Like, of course, they say they want to stay in. Like, well, when did you take that survey?
Yeah, in the midst of the pandemic.
Duh, they're going to say that.
Yeah, the 2021 survey cannot possibly be as relevant now as it was back then. So a couple things about this, Flippy, as we just have a couple minutes to finish up this section here. Number one, on the social engineering note, we've pointed out the sort of interesting, I was going to say silly, not quite silly, because they are referring to sort of retirement age people, older people. And of course, it is a concern to want to stay in your home and not be put in some home or something. You know? I'm not sure if a robot carrying your food for you is going to make that much of a difference, but, perhaps it will. But comparing this robot to a dog or like a companion, it's comparing it to a dog is like, man's best friend.
There's
this
your
little
social
robot,
engineering.
Exactly. Will
Subtle.
be your best friend. It will love you. It will be by your side in sickness and in health, and you will fall in love with this robot as if it were the most important thing in your life, much like all you crazy dog people think about your dogs. But, that's very purposeful. It's good PR, but it's also participating in the technocratic social engineering, the sort of reframing of robots, not just as tools, but as, something with personhood that you should be emotionally connected to, even as they're trying to walk a line with this. They're like, no, don't worry. It won't dominate over you. It won't replace your caregiver. It won't do all these things, but it will be your best friend and hold your hand as you slip off into the next version of life or whatever. I think it is very interesting, and this follows the trend that we have applied to so many things. It's very interesting how this is done in the context and paid for and supported by an insurance company.
Yeah.
It's that economic investment, not just financially, but certainly including financially, but by the establishment. The fact that it is an insurance company means, this will be available and paid for through your insurance.
And you'll get better rates if you have robot coverage. Yeah.
Yes. And here's the concern for me. How much sort of panopticon insurance spying is this going to do?
Yeah.
Much like car insurance, they gave you this little app or a little connector into your car, and you put it in there for 6 months. It records everything about how you drive, where you drive, collects all this data that can be monetized, A. But B, it's under the guise of like, well, if you are safe, and we see that with your app or your little plugin,
you have nothing to worry about. You better drive well. We are watching.
You'll get a discount.
Yeah.
And same thing with this robot. I'm curious what kind of data collection involved. How if it's following you around, I can see, are you walking? Are you not walking? Is there a little camera, an emergency system or something where if you fall, it'll call the cops for you or something, or the paramedics rather.
Follow the data. Where are the server? Where are the server farms? Are they in China? Where are they? Are they in Russia?
Yeah.
Probably not Russia, but
they don't say anything about it, but that's sort of the theme with these things. They don't tell you they're collecting your data until it's too late. So the fact that it's an insurance company doing this pretty much tells me that this is guaranteed to work and is also guaranteed to have all sorts of downstream effects in the life of whomever. So there you go. That's your Flippy update for the day.
There you go. Well, something you can do to mitigate these robot taking over all of life is to go to CanaryCry.Party.
Do it.
I did that. Find the live stream, email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians and become a producer. I like how you revamped some of the stuff that's more organized.
Yeah, it's a little bit more organized over there now. Kind of chopped up into sections with some labels, which is a new feature that has been given to us for this website. I've also refreshed some of the links. The Odyssey link was taking you to the wrong Odyssey channel. So apologies for anybody who got taken to the wrong channel. But there is also a refreshed invite link to the Discord chat. So if you're interested, look, I have not been a Discord person. But since we've sort of been trying to be a little bit more organized with producers who help us out with things like the clipping or the timestamps or things like that, some of our back-end producers, I've been using Discord more, and I'm enjoying it. So I recommend you go join the Discord chat. We've got a vibrant Discord community over there filled with Canarians. We've got a few hundred people, or maybe over 400 people who are in there. And also, shout out to CanaryCry.Community, which is our non-Facebook, non-algoized sort of custom-ish social media network where you can connect with all sorts of other Canarians on more of a social media basis. Lots of great stuff over there. Lots of friendships forming and theories being theorized. And there's even sort of a small anti-Basil contingency over there. So if you want to join the militia to try to get Basil off the show, that's a great place to meet other like-minded individuals. Yeah, there you go. CanaryCry.Party. All sorts of great stuff over there.
Very good. You have a podcast.
What's that?
You have the other podcast.
Yes, thank you. And I do want to give a quick plug for Ravel. It's a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. We are currently doing a series with artists, and we just had a episode drop on Sunday about spirit-filled photography. We also get into technology and what is an artist, what is a Christian artist, what is Christian art, all sorts of good stuff. So yes, Ravel, we explore society, scripture, and scandal. There's 2 Ravel podcasts. The other one stole our name pretty explicitly. But the one with my name on it and the cool logo is the right one. And last but not least, if you head over to CanaryCry.Party, you can find the Clips channel, the YouTube Clips channel. Tons of clips from the show getting posted over there. And if you're trying to share the show with somebody new and they're not quite into the value for value thing, or they think we, I don't know, the 4-hour show doesn't work for them, this is a great way to introduce them to the content without making them commit to sort of the full Canary Cry experience. Canary Cry clips over on YouTube. We also have it mirrored over on Odyssey there. So go follow the channel and share those links all over the place, baby. And that's it.
Back to Ukraine.
Fight for Ukraine. Ukraine. New world order.
Lasers. Well, we're going to start off
Was that the UFO?
Yeah, that was the UFO.
Ukraine?
This is Russian propaganda. TASS, which is the Russian news agency. We're going to start here to sort of walk through this BIOLAB thing. So this is actually an article that was published back in April of 2020. The headline, Ukrainian opposition urges probe into U.S. biolaboratories in Ukraine. So clearly this is an issue that's been ongoing for a while, at least from the Russia side. It's been a point of interest. So let's see what it says here. Again, this is 2020, April 15th. We won't read the whole thing. We'll just a couple paragraphs to get an idea. Ukraine's opposition platform, For Life Party. I like that. For Life. F-O-R, life. Party has urged the authorities to probe into the operations of 15 U.S. military biological laboratories. Maybe that's the propaganda, Basil. Remember, we can only find one. We'll get to that. But
yes,
it says
we'll get to that.
15 military biological laboratories. It argues that since their emergence, Ukraine has seen outbreaks of dangerous diseases, as follows from a message by the head of the party's political council, Viktor Medvedchuk, and parliament member from the same party, Renat Kuzmin, published on the party's website on Wednesday. Quote, I, as the chairman of the political council of the opposition platform, For Life, and a member of parliament from our party, Renat Kuzmin, have addressed Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal, Health Minister Maxim Stepanov, and Chief of the Security Service SBU Ivan Bankanov with a demand for presenting information concerning the operations of 15 U.S. military biological laboratories in Ukraine. These laboratories carry out unlawful activity that threatens the life and health of Ukrainian citizens. The European mass media openly write about this. Okay.
You did mention that this article is from 2020, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is clearly a Russian outlet. We're starting with the Russian narrative, the Russian propaganda side of things in terms of this BioLab conversation. It's been sort of a point of contention for a while. So let's get it going there.
It's been interesting to watch, too, because the way that it was presented through social media, at least when it was presented to us, was that it was like the theory of this one guy and he kind of figured it out and followed the money and all sorts of stuff, which is fun. And it seemed like an organic social media researcher guy just sort of like putting it out there.
Right.
When the fact is that it's been a theory, like it's been a piece of Russian propaganda for years.
So who helped package it for the largely American social media fringe truther crowd? Because that was the group that picked up on it first. At least that's what I noticed.
Yeah, same. I mean, that's how I came in contact with it originally.
Well, let's see what Bloomberg says about it. Because Bloomberg published an article, headline, China pushes conspiracy theory about U.S. labs in Ukraine.
Oh.
So it's China pushing this conspiracy theory.
It's Russia and China talking about this crazy idea that we have biolabs in Ukraine.
This was published on the 8th of March. It was updated today on the 9th. China accused the U.S. military of operating dangerous biolabs in Ukraine, echoing a Russian conspiracy theory that Western officials warned could be part of an effort to justify Vladimir Putin's invasion after the fact. Quote, U.S. biolabs in Ukraine have indeed attracted much attention recently, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian said Tuesday in response to a question from a local reporter. He added that, quote, all dangerous pathogens in Ukraine must be stored in these labs, and all research activities are led by the U.S. side, without providing evidence to back up the claims. Zhao called on, quote, relevant sides to ensure the safety of the facilities and said, quote, the U.S., as the party that knows the labs the best, should disclose specific information as soon as possible, including which viruses are stored and what research has been conducted, end quote. There's a Ukraine update, Russia's gas threat, ceasefire talk struggle. All right, that's part of the thing there. The comments mirror the diversion tactics China's diplomats used last year when questioned about the origins of COVID-19. Back then, they frequently pointed to Fort Detrick, a U.S. military facility in Maryland, that the Soviet Union falsely claimed in the 1980s was the source of the virus causing. Yeah, isn't that hilarious?
So they're trying to connect it with the Chinese propaganda that COVID was a U.S.-made thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, which doesn't really have anything to do with this theory. I guess it's just sort of the U.S. also participating in bio warfare.
Just
that's what connects it. But and in sort of a deconstruction of the media, media sense, it's kind of like trying to connect the trucker convoy with January 6th.
Right. They're trying to make a correlation that's not really there.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very loose connection. Britain's defense ministry said in a tweet that it had noticed an uptick in allegations by Russia that Ukraine is working on biological or nuclear weapons. Quote, these narratives are long-standing but are currently likely being amplified as a part of a retrospective justification for Russia's invasion of Ukraine, it added.
Amplified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there you go. It's online disinformation campaign to suggest that the U.S. has biolabs in Ukraine.
Well, the Bloomberg continues. Since 1991, a unit of the U.S. Department of Defense has cooperated with former satellites of the Soviet Union, including Ukraine, to secure and take apart weapons of mass destruction that have been left behind. Okay. The Nuland Cooperative Threat Reduction Program is intended to, quote, support defense and military cooperations with the objective of preventing proliferation, according to the Center of Arms Control and Non-Proliferation, a U.S. nonprofit. The DoD...
They're talking nukes there.
They're talking nukes, and I think more nukes. Oh, no, biological weapons. So the Department of Defense and Ukraine's health ministry then signed a treaty in 2005 to prevent any proliferation of pathogens in facilities in Kiev, Lviv, Odessa, and elsewhere that could be used in biological weapons. In 2020, Interfax Ukraine reported that the Security Service of Ukraine, described as Fake news posts on social media claiming the U.S. had weapons labs in the nation. The counterintelligence service known as...
Again, weapons labs.
Weapons labs,
not just biolabs.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're conflating the two for sure, especially in this article. Known as the SBU said that Washington and Kiev were working to counter possible biological terrorism. Exactly what you would say if you're covering up for the U.S. developing biological terror weapons.
Right.
So... yeah, it's funny how they drag in China a little bit on the story. They're it's an interesting misdirection when it comes to the actual story. But
yeah, well, it's very effective in pre-bunking. Remember the whole conversation about pre-bunking?
Yeah.
It's no, we can't wait to debunk. We must pre-bunk.
Right.
That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting with this, is they're trying to get ahead. And again, remember, up until literally this moment, the concept of U.S. biolabs in Ukraine was some sort of fringe idea being thrown around on Twitter. But Bloomberg here throwing it right into the spotlight on mainstream media, which... it's that Streisand effect. It's like, when will they learn? Plenty of people will never even hear of this theory. But now that it's on the mainstream, it's getting around even more. So you got to question the intentions there.
Yeah. It occurred to me just now, too, and maybe this is an obvious thought, but all the sanctions happening with Russia right now, if something similar, it would be hard to imagine something similar happening with China. But if it does get to that point where China and Russia become one thing in the East and then they completely split off from the West, that could be that split could be pretty devastating. The China pullout. I don't even think it's possible, to be honest. But anyway, it's just interesting to bring in China into this conversation. China pushes a conspiracy theory about U.S. labs in Ukraine when they say that it's a Russian conspiracy in the article.
Yeah, that is you're right. You're right. There's no reason for them to bring it in as a Chinese conspiracy theory.
Unless there's something coming
because
with
it's
China
a Russian
too.
Conspiracy theory. Yeah, again, it's just sort of making the connection between Russia and China, which obviously did not need any help being made because of their sort of inseparable partnership with no limits or whatever that they came out with recently. But there has been rumblings about China not necessarily supporting what Russia is doing, not backing it. They're trying to distance themselves because they don't want to get in the sort of crossfire of these sanctions, because that would really be a problem for China. China, they've done a great job, and they're very proud of sort of establishing sort of a respectability in the geopolitical landscape, as far as sort of the international, conglomeration of elites. And so they don't want to risk that. So they haven't been supporting. So they've been backing away from Russia in this. And it seems like Bloomberg is specifically trying to draw them back in, to not let them disconnect from some sort of responsibility of at least not condemning Russia's actions.
Well, we don't have to.
Because, there's no other reason to bring China into this. Are you trying to go on to the next thing?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So we bring all this up because of this crazy conspiracy theory of the U.S. having biolabs in Ukraine. And it's so at the front of mind that it even got brought up by some popular U.S. politicians, and not the ones you would think.
Yeah, the Undersecretary of State, Victoria Nuland.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
Ukraine has biological research facilities, which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
I'm sure you're aware that the Russian propaganda groups are already putting out there all kinds of information about how they've uncovered a plot by the Ukrainians to release biological weapons in the country and with NATO's coordination. If there's a biological or chemical weapon incident or attack inside of Ukraine, is there any doubt in your mind that 100% it would be the Russians that would be behind it?
There is no doubt in my mind, Senator, and it is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy what they're planning to do themselves.
So there are so many levels to this, and I want to try to just real quick summarize the bullet points of questions this brings up.
Yeah.
Number one, this is Victoria Nuland, the same woman who is right in the middle of the Polish aircraft
the Polish thing. Yep.
problem.
Yep.
So she's now kind of having to answer for this alleged Russian propaganda. So she was asked by Marco Rubio, by the way. That was the male voice was Marco Rubio, who has lost his baby face. He looks like an actual adult now, which congrats for that, Marco. But he's pretty blatantly asks, does Ukraine have any sort of bioweapons capabilities?
Right.
And she answers by saying the Ukraine has research labs.
Biological research laboratories.
Right.
Yeah.
So she does not want to say
weapons.
She doesn't say bioweapons. She doesn't say, these types of things, the types of things that were listed in Bloomberg. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't say that, but she does say there's biolabs. And then refers to them strictly as like Ukrainian-owned biolabs, but takes a long road around to make sure to not say that there's bioweapons, but to say that they really don't want Russia to get their
why
research.
Are you so interested in Russia taking those
right? If it's just
over.
Research and it's for the good of science, why would you not want Russia seeing what you have going on there? I mean, there's just the general idea of like, I guess we don't want them knowing about our medicines that we've made or whatever, but they're very concerned about Russians getting this completely innocent biolab material or data or whatever.
And then
they start talking about, they don't use the word, but they're talking about false flags again.
Yep.
And Marco Rubio is saying if there was some sort of bio attack in Ukraine, do you think it would be the Russians?
Are you sure it'll be the Russians?
And the question he's asking is, well, would the Ukrainians false flag a bio attack on themselves to blame the Russians? That is the between the lines of his question.
Between the lines, yeah.
And she answers by saying, again, between the lines, no, Ukraine would not false flag themselves. That's what Russia does. Russia would let the bioweapon out and then claim that Ukraine let it out on itself. So like this double switcheroonsky false flag. And it's all done in very simple language, but if you actually listen to the words, the question is, would Ukraine false flag itself with a bioweapon? No, Russia would bioweapon Ukraine and call it a Ukrainian false flag, which then leaves open the question like, okay, so you've pre-bunked the possibility. Again, back to this pre-bunking. She's pre-bunking. So now I'm not saying Ukraine would do this or wants to. I don't know anything about them. Surely we are not being told everything. But now the stage is set where if Ukraine or NATO or anybody
releases a bioweapon anywhere in Ukraine,
no matter what, it'll be blamed on the Russians.
It'll be blamed. It's the Al-Qaeda before 9/11. Al-Qaeda. Got to find Al-Qaeda.
Right.
Got to find him.
Remember that whole
thing?
You go. Yeah, I do. It is so it's a very short clip. It's a very simply stated clip. But when you listen to the words, they are having like a second layer of conversation.
It's a meta conversation.
Which I could hear somebody new sort of maybe rolling their eyes. But I just challenge you, go back, listen to the words yourself.
Why don't
we play?
Yeah, let's play it one more time.
One more time after all this.
Yeah.
And see if you can hear it.
And I will set up another part of it, which is when Victoria Nuland answers that last question about Russia, her hand is fidgety. And then you can tell she has that moment of like, I better be more confident about this answer.
She does. She does have a change in countenance,
yes,
for sure.
Okay, here we go.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
Ukraine has biological research facilities, which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
I'm sure you're aware that the Russian propaganda groups are already putting out there all kinds of information about how they've uncovered a plot by the Ukrainians to release biological weapons in the country and with NATO's coordination. If there's a biological or chemical weapon incident or attack inside of Ukraine, is there any doubt in your mind that 100% it would be the Russians that would be behind it?
There is no doubt in my mind, Senator, and it is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy what they're planning to do themselves.
It's also classic American technique.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is exactly what Americans have done to expand into the world.
The U.S. government.
The U.S. government, yes. Not us. Not us podcasters. But
so we promised a few episodes that we needed to look into a lot of this, and we've done a little bit of digging. Mm-hmm. And so we have found some sources, some direct sources, not some Twitter thread or something, that we can use to kind of take a closer look at this.
Yep.
Gonz, you want to walk us through it?
Yeah, so I found this doc here through the National Academies Press, Science, Engineering, and Medicine. It's a document titled Biosecurity Challenges of the Global Expansion of High Containment Biological Laboratories, Summaries of a Workshop, 2012. So sounds like a boring piece of government blah, blah, blah. But in it here, there are different sections, and there's this whole E4 section on Russia of how they have high containment biological laboratories and what we need to do, and etc. But there's another part here, E7, which is titled High Containment Laboratories in Ukraine, Local Resources and Regulations. Okay, so again, this is 2012, allegedly, when this thing was published. And it goes through stuff. I have a couple parts highlighted here. Do you remember what level of security the Wuhan lab was?
So this is a big part of, you have to actually read this document to get this info.
The full part,
but I can summarize it for you.
Well, I have stuff highlighted, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to summarize the info to your question, which is the Wuhan lab was a level 4 lab, but it consistently failed its level 4 audits. So like it was a level 4, but it like wasn't really a level 4 type of thing.
Right.
So it was a level 4. Now the classification of labs, and this is described in this document, in the broader document. The classification of labs in the Ukraine is actually done in an opposite scale than the international community, like the Wuhan lab. Right, which adds this, it's like, oh, my little stick broke. Sorry, I was watching the video. I had sort of Jimmy rigged my microphone stand to not hit me in the face, and it just broke. So it's on an opposite scale. So there's level 1 to 4 in Ukraine. 1 is the most highly rated, and 4 is the lowest rated, which is opposite of the international community, such as Wuhan and the US, which does 4 as the most highly rated and 1 as the least highly rated, which makes this document confusing because they kind of switch back and forth using the different levels.
That does make it confusing.
Yeah, but the levels are sort of the least important part.
Sure.
Yeah.
It says here, state institution, quote, Ukrainian II Mechkanov Anti-Plague Research Institute of the Ministry of Health of Ukraine, Odessa, which was one of the places mentioned earlier, which is responsible for the identification of especially dangerous biological pathogens. This laboratory was reconstructed and technically updated up to the BSL-3 level through a cooperative agreement between the United States Department of Defense and the Ministry of Health of Ukraine that started in 2005.
There we go.
All the way back in 2005, this partnership was formed.
So, and this is the one thing that we can only confirm certain aspects of the sort of theory. But according to this document, we can confirm that at least one lab was reconstructed, sort of cared for and taken responsibility for through a partnership with the U.S., which calls into question, why is the U.S. only involved in this one lab? Why don't they? Now, there may be other documents that we haven't gotten to yet, but according to this one, there is one lab that has some very special attention from the U.S. And just to summarize another part of it, Gonz, just for time's sake.
Okay, yeah. I was going to hand it off to you there because I can read those quotes. I have it all highlighted. So
I got it too. Okay. I was going to get into the training unless you have.
No. Before we do that, so this part of this deal between the DoD and the Ministry of Health in Ukraine was the collaboration focuses on preventing the spread of technologies, the spread of technologies, which is interesting.
So
pathogens.
You're talking, so they're talking about a security thing. When you're talking about these labs, there's, you don't want the viruses to spread, but this also includes they don't want the technology.
They don't want the tools to make it to spread either, which is
which could be two things. One of them being the tools and equipment and the systems being used in the lab, or you could consider some sort of engineered pathogen to be a technology.
I think this is important to point out before we go on to your thing.
Sure.
This laboratory was updated within the state program and the above-mentioned cooperative agreement between Ukraine and the U.S. It has a permit to work with microorganisms of the second pathogenic group and is intended for work with especially dangerous infections. So they just clearly state that, probably some pretty intense biological weaponry being created here.
This one, and maybe we don't need to use the word weapon, but some very dangerous pathogens.
I guess it can be weaponized. It's not a weapon itself.
Who knows? But that's some crazy Russian propaganda. We're going straight from the source here.
From the source, but okay. And then later here, it mentions, and this is for you, Basil, the part that you wanted highlighted, epidemiological stations of the Ministry of Health in Ukraine and the SI, Ukrainian II Mechkanov Anti-Plague Research Institute of the Ministry of Health of Ukraine, were also reconstructed and equipped as part of an agreement with the United States. And over the next few years, a few of the regional sanitary epidemiological stations of the Ministry of Health of Ukraine and laboratories of the National Academy of Agrarian Sciences of Ukraine are also scheduled to be updated as part of the same agreement with the U.S. It is also important to mention activities connected with training of laboratory personnel. Yes. For example, intensive training programs are running as part of an agreement with the United States. That's kind of a big deal, I think.
Yep. There is also a new training center in biosafety in Odessa functioning. So you've got the U.S. Now they do state that the U.S. then got involved with other biolabs, and more than anything, the U.S. is reconstructing these labs with a focus on stopping the spread of technology and, the pathogens, working with extra dangerous pathogens. And the United States is also responsible for the intensive training programs. So they are building, rebuilding, and training all of these scientists and engineers and people working in these biolabs.
Yeah, this is the same model as like Wuhan. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's very similar to Wuhan, and perhaps even more. More hands-on.
More hands-on,
right?
Yeah.
There are also some projects to increase the biosafety and biosecurity, which are being run by individual laboratories. For example, the Central Sanitary that works with especially dangerous infections is implementing the Laboratory Biorisk Management Standard with support through Canada or from Canada. So we even have Canada involved in some of these. And all these steps aim to minimize the risk of accidents to increase biolaboratory security. So, according to this 2012 document, the U.S. is very involved with...
And has been for years.
And has been since 2005 with the BIOLABS in Ukraine, taking a special sort of responsibility for the security of these labs, training the personnel of these labs, and things like that. So it is not crazy to consider that, the U.S. has a very special interest in these labs and a very special influence over what happens in these labs. So, yeah. For perhaps Russians coming out and saying the U.S. is building bioweapons and they're going to kill us. Perhaps that can technically be called propaganda, but there is some truth in there in that the U.S. is very involved with equipping, training, and running biological labs in Ukraine. And Victoria Nuland is very concerned about whatever happens in those labs, whatever is contained in those labs, falling into the hands of the Russians, which I have trouble thinking that, if they have some special medicine against Ebola, or they have some special...
You gotta think fringier, man.
Real biological inequality. This is something which is way beyond just another species.
Human-machine hybrids. Data is the key, and they will have power over us. That freaked me out.
It freaked me out. Yes, whatever's
Stuff
happening in
freak
those...
you out, man. That's what's down there.
Whatever is happening in those labs, our Undersecretary of whatever, Victoria Nuland.
It's American. It's ours.
Does not give it want Putin. It getting into the hands of the Russians.
See, so. This has got to be about more than... all the economic sanctions, yes, all that's in play. Fuel, energy, whatever, Ukraine, all that. It's got to be about some crazy Nephilim monster, some rights to some crazy hybrid thing they created in the lab. And, Russia's going, technically is Russian territory you built. U.S. is like, but we funded and trained the people to build. And Ukraine's like, yeah, here we are. You guys are fighting over us. We're like the hot girlfriend.
So along with all of this, I'm just going to quickly summarize, and then we can move to our next section, Gonz. Okay. There was this article from the Daily Beast.
Oh, yeah, titled, lovely.
Yes. The power of false war propaganda divides families.
Who you going to believe? I like their little sub thing. Who you going to believe?
Yeah. And it's beautiful because it starts out with Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump have a lot in common. But there's one similarity you probably haven't thought of. A lot of their supporters trust Putin and Trump more than they trust their own families.
Okay.
And it goes into how, in Ukraine and Russia, there's families who live both in Ukraine and Russia, and one part of the family is getting Russian propaganda. The other part of the family is getting the objective truth in Ukraine. How they're
otherwise
fighting.
Known as Western propaganda.
Sure. Well, they're on the ground, and it talks about the Russian family members. They're telling their family in Ukraine that the Russians are there to help, and they're giving blankets and helping out the Ukrainians. They're there for their good, and the Ukrainian part of the family is like, they're also killing us and bombing us, and the Russian family is like, no, they're there to help, and it builds this picture of who are you going to believe? And there's this specific line here: who are you going to believe? Something your dad saw on Putin's state TV, or your own lying eyes? Which is like a little bit of sarcasm, which doesn't work well in text, especially on a. But it's, the Daily Beast. They can have some fun with it.
Sure.
So they make this whole point of you can't trust Putin's state TV. It's just lies. It's all lies. And I thought this was very interesting, considering we had just covered the story from The Blaze last episode. If you were on YouTube last episode, we hit it after the break, so you may have missed it. But there was this Blaze article, exclusive. The federal government paid hundreds of media companies to advertise the COVID-19 vaccines, while those same outlets provided positive coverage of the vaccines, talking about how the Biden administration paid $1 billion to our quote-unquote non-state media, ABC, Fox, CBS, NBC, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, New York Post, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post, BuzzFeed, and the big kicker there was Newsmax. Ooh, Newsmax also got paid by our government for positive coverage of the vaccine. And I think it's hilarious because we have here, don't listen to Putin's state TV, but you can listen to American, privately owned news media. It's much more reliable and doesn't have any propaganda on it. When it's literally just come out, our state news may not be owned by the state. But through advertising budgets, our government still can put out whatever propaganda it wants.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
We may not be Putin's authoritarian government putting out propaganda, but in classic American fashion, advertising can make that propaganda just as effective and perhaps even more trustworthy. Who are you going to believe? Biden's state-paid advertising or your own lying eyes? And that's why advertising, folks, in this case, advertising is simply equivalent to a state-run media propaganda outlet. And that's why we're going to take a short break and tell you how we can all participate in fighting against this state TV propaganda in the U.S. and perhaps even believe our own lying eyes. Let's take a break.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
Beautiful animation. Beautiful animation there. Actually, I'm not watching the stream. Did we play the animation?
Of course we did.
Okay, I knew it. So yes, that's right, folks. You're here on True Independent Media. What makes this independent media different from other independent media? Well, we're truly independent. We don't take any money from advertisers, affiliate codes, partnerships, anything like that. In fact, we take no corporate money whatsoever. Why? Because independent media that takes corporate money is then subject to corporate interests. And does that make it actually independent? I don't know. We'll let you decide. But it's through this sort of monolithic spiritual theology, global theology of advertising that has allowed for all sorts of things that we like to think ourselves immune to here in the U.S., such as state-run propaganda news outlets. Wow, my computer is freaking out right now. Sorry about that. So that's why we're on the value for value model, folks. It's we don't take any corporate money, no advertising. We don't try to participate in some sort of brainwashing culture that is trying to convince you that you can't possibly have a full and fulfilling human life without, some new doodad or spending some money you don't have on something you don't need in order to find true happiness in this life. No, in fact, we are entirely producer supported. And who are our producers? They are listeners just like you who have decided to take some responsibility for their own media independent media in their lives, no longer relying on advertisers to set the value of their media, but instead deciding to, participate in the circle of value to keep the show going completely free from, the awful system of advertising that has spent billions of dollars figuring out ways to collect every piece of information about you they possibly can, and then pay your trusted podcasters to use your trust and attention to monetize for corporate profit. It's called the value for value system. We create value 3 times a week or more. And if you get any value out of what we're doing here, you can join the cause by putting some value back in. And those who do, we call them producers, because that's exactly what they are. If you spend money or participate in the creation of some kind of media, you are a producer of that media. And there's a couple ways to do it. First, you can go to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. I gotta say, through that whole thing, Gonz, my computer was sending off maybe hundreds of alerts and alarms. And it was very distracting, but we made it this far. So, yes, CanaryCry.Radio.com/support is a wonderful place where you can support the show with your cryptocurrency. If you're a cool cryptocurrency person, you can find our public wallets there. If you want to support the show on a monthly basis, a nice set it and forget it option. If you want to commit to keeping the show going while you continue to receive value from it, you can sign up for a monthly producership. If you want to participate in the Canary Cry Supply Drop program, where you receive all sorts of cool, exclusive, one-time manufacturing run Canary Cry News Talk stuff, you can sign up for that. Or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. Gonz, who do we have to thank today?
We're going to start by thanking our executive producers once again.
Executive producers.
That's right. Our executive producers are people who realize what's going on and want to take some really drastic and impressive personal responsibility for keeping this show going, and we appreciate them very much. We did have a quick name change.
I was going to say, it looks like something happened, but that's okay, as long as I know the updated, correct name here. Sister Sarah.
Right. Sister Sarah, thank you so much. Sister Sarah comes in with $444.
Wow.
To keep this show going. Thank you very much, Sister Sarah, executive producer of episode 456.
Where'd you find this?
My dog has a lot to say here.
Thank you very much, Sister Sarah, executive producer.
Sarah.
It's, we had a few episodes there where not a whole lot of executive or associate executive support. Those times get a little worrisome, but of course, our producers always step up, and we appreciate you for doing so. But we have another executive producer as well.
Yeah, and that is Dustin H.
That's right. Dustin H., perhaps Dustin Hoffman, or Dustin Hook, as I believe he's called in the movie Hook. Thank you very much, Dustin H. Dustin H. comes in for $333.33. That's right. What was that?
I'm getting kissed by the dog.
Cute. Such love. Thank you very much, executive producer Dustin H.
Thank you, Dustin H.
Where'd you find this?
You got something to say to the executive producers, Cody?
Kodageddon, the World Eater.
Yeah, nothing.
Doesn't have much to say, does he? Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you to the executive producers, Sister Sarah, Dustin H. We really appreciate it. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much. And make sure to thank our executive producers, all the other producers out there. Moving on here, we have, hold on. We got a supply drop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Ooh, it's very quiet.
Supply drop.
There we go. That's right. CanaryCry.Supply.com is an awesome producer thank you campaign that we are running for 2022. 4 times a year, every 3 months, once per quarter, you can receive a very special supply drop, a package delivered straight to your house, chock-a-block full of producer-created, producer-designed, U.S. manufactured Canary Cry goods, and can come in all forms. You got survival gear, you got apparel, you got accessories, you got super special Canary Cry podcast companion ARGs, all sorts of good stuff. And we are working hard, me and the producers, to get out the very first supply drop this month. And we have a new supply dropper coming in. That's right, folks. You can still sign up for the supply drop. And we have a new supply dropper. That is supply drop producer Brenda O.
Thank you, Brenda O.
Yeah, and Brenda O signs up for the supply drop for $33.33 plus fees. And in addition, came in to support the show today with a one-time producership of $33.33 as well, to sort of make up for a missed auto pay that had not come in. So thank you very much, Brenda O, for signing up. And thank you for, doing your part to keep the show going and even making up for little whoopsie daisies by PayPal there.
Very cool. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm still working on the NFT side of things for the supply drop. I think we'll have something ready pretty soon here. So looking forward to that. It's just onboarding a bunch of people that are a part of the supply drop team onto digital wallets, which what's fun about the NFTs, and I think this is something we can have a quick production note right now. Okay.
The supply drop goes out every 3 months, right?
Yeah.
But some people might have an attitude about supporting the show for 3 months to get
not getting stuff sooner.
Well, I mean, it's adding up to get you stuff in the supply drop, but it might be a good incentive campaign. As long as you're signed up to the supply drop, you'll also get sort of the digital goods, the digital assets of NFTs, and we can schedule that to be on like the first month of the quarter.
Do much, either the first
perhaps
or
even once a month once it's signed up.
Yeah. Something a little more frequent to keep people receiving things as
we want to give as much value to our producers as possible.
Yeah.
So there you go. We might start that in the next quarter, either this month or next month. Sending out digital assets to the supply droppers as well.
Very cool. All
so
right.
That's a good reason to sign up now. Sign up this month because if you don't want to, I mean, if you missed out on sort of the cutoff for this month's physical supply drop, you should still sign up because you can still receive the digital supply drop too.
All right.
And go to CanaryCry.Supply.com for that.
Yes, sir. We got more producers to thank. We got Christine H.
Christine H. Yeah, thank you very much. Christine H. comes in. And I just want to take this chance to let everybody know, if you're thinking about producing the show, keep in mind we keep as much as possible anonymous. If you don't want us to keep your producership amount anonymous, make it some sort of funny number. You can signal within the number that you're okay with us reading the number. If it's a nice round number, we usually don't read the number. So Christine H. comes in at a nice round number. Thank you very much. And also comes in with a note. And the note reads like this. Heard your show on the No Agenda stream about a year ago. Okay.
No Agenda donation.
Yeah, we get to play with that jingle. It's fun.
It's every once in a while. There you go. Yeah, if you're a No Agenda listener as well, and you support this show, let us know because it's nice to know people are hearing us over there.
It's nice to know No Agenda listeners hear us because clearly Adam doesn't. Adam doesn't know who we are.
I listen to your podcast frequently. Cool. Keep up the good work, and may God bless you both and your families. Peace to you and all of your listeners. Love, Chrissy Hines from Manchester, New Hampshire. Thank you very much, Chrissy.
Thank you, Chrissy. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, Chrissy. All right. Thank you very much. Next up, we got Poco Jojo.
Poco Jojo is in the house, and Poco Jojo just signed up to the Patreon. So thank you very much, Poco Jojo.
Thank you.
And there's a note here. Hi, Basil and Gonz. Love the verse with the evil exposer level, and am able to give a little more than required amount. Thank you very much. I am a teacher, but had to walk away. Oh, come on.
From the public education
system in November, when I figured out my next purpose. I will be able to give more. Oh, wonderful. This community is a light in the darkness. I'm hoping to make some meaningful connections, and we'll be planning a meetup when the weather stops being so freaky. Thank you for all you do, Poco Jojo.
Oh, thank you very much, Poco Jojo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Poco Jojo, and good luck finding your next purpose.
Yeah, and let us know when you got that meetup planned or scheduled.
Yes, of course.
All right.
Oh, and I think that puts Poco Jojo on a streak.
Okay.
I'm going to call it a 2-episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
Yeah, I'll double check that, but 3-episode streak actually, which means Poco Jojo is heating up, baby.
He's heating up!
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we have Morv.
Morv is on a 62-episode streak.
This is crazy. I just realized how insane it is that we keep track of streaks of producers, and we have.
Why?
I don't know. We're like 100 and something episodes into doing it, and I'm like, this is insanity.
You know what? I like it.
No, I know. I love it. It's just it's strange to me that we keep track and that people come in. I'm amazed with all you producers.
Amazed, I think, is the real term. And producer Morv comes in for 11:11. Thank you very much, Morv.
Thank you, Morv. All right. Whoa. Next up, Cloud Surreal.
Cloud Surreal comes in for 11:11. And a note here, play the Go Get 'em jingle and sprinkle it with Whispering Biden. Top it off with a Dean scream. Wow, quite a recipe here for you, Gonz. I've got to say, the celebrity voicemails have become my favorite segment of the show so far. I die from laughter. Thank you, Cloud Surreal.
This is the one I didn't prepare. I got the Dean scream. Yeah. And I should have. What was it that he wanted? He wanted the Go Get 'em, which is not a jingle. We have
not a jingle yet. Yeah.
Do kind of a splice up of it. So I'll try.
Maybe you can just play it and then sprinkle in some stuff, and it's 45 seconds long or something. So maybe cut it off when you get the other stuff interspersed.
Okay. So and then he wants some Biden and then the Dean scream. Yeah. Is that what was requested?
Sounds right to me. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's not the right one. Hold on. Here we go. There it is.
Go get him?
Go get him.
Trying to do a podcast? Go get him. Go get that podcast.
I wrote the bill.
Go get him?
I don't know.
Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, because you can't play things over something that's already playing.
I can. It's going to get crazy. I don't want to get too... All right, here.
Like grandmas are taking out their shotguns and stuff. And
oh, yeah. It's just...
go get them, Gonz.
I like meats.
Don't go get them.
I don't know.
That's good. You nailed it.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you, Cloud Surreal.
Thank you, Cloud Surreal, for the inspiration. Okay. Next up, we have Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch.
That's right. Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch, is on a 77-episode streak, which means Sir JC.
Oh, sorry. No, give him that first, and then...
It's okay. Sir JC has reached perfection. Right. JC comes in with 1001.
1001. Amen.
And says it is WMD.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
I hope everyone is having a good week. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for the weekend already. God bless you and your families. Thank you, Sir JC.
Thank you, Sir JC. Next up, we have Malik W.
Malik W. Thank you very much. No note. I was trying to see if he was on a streak. Was that last episode he came in?
I don't remember. I do remember seeing him recently.
He was recently, but I don't know.
I don't think
Thank you very much,
but,
Malik. Yeah, no note and no streak that I can see, but we appreciate Malik coming in, making it happen, and supporting the show.
Yep, appreciate it. We'll get it right if we didn't mess that up next episode.
Yeah.
Hey, quiet there. All right, next up. We have LX Protocol V2.
Producer bot. LX Protocol V2 is in the house and on a 4-episode streak, coming in with 777 plus fees, and says it is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
I prefer the old jingle. We all need to scream sometimes. I identify as male. That was a question. Yes. What gender is this robot? Corn Pop was a bad dude. Nobody likes you, Booster. Hairy legs. Thanks for all you do.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
What was the other one?
Nobody likes you, Booster.
Ooh, that's going to be a little bit harder to pull up. Okay. I don't know if I could do those as quickly.
Also, hairy legs if you got laying around.
Yeah, I got hairy legs laying around, so that one's easy.
No worries. Good. Yes, we are making progress on the system of preparing the jingles beforehand. This is another reason why it helps if producers come in, before the show, because we try to line up all these jingles before the show, and if you produce during the show, then we got to find the jingles live, which we're happy to do, but does cause a little bit of extra fun finding and setting them up.
Here we go.
Okay.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
You know what? Nobody likes you, Booster.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
Sorry, it wasn't as smooth as I liked it to be.
It's all good.
Yeah, made it happen though. There you go. LX Protocol V2. I hope I satisfy your request. Next up, we have BB.
BB comes in with $7.30, which I think is the LINKTREE 777. LINKTREE, when you produce through the LINKTREE, it doesn't give me the breakdown of what the fees are versus what you produce with, but that's what I think is happening there. Pocket full of sevens. Thank you, BB. And a note, this is my first time producing, been a listener for several years. Ooh. Please have the producers pray for my mental health. Thank you. Okay. Well, should we demooch and call the producers?
Let's demooch. And we will call upon the producers.
Producers, assemble!
You know what? Okay. We'll have to, we're going to review. Yeah, okay. We'll do that later. Yes, thank you very much, BB.
Next up, we have Palmer B.
Oh, yeah. Producers, pray for BB's mental health.
Yes.
Of course. Very important. Okay, next up, Palmer B. Thank you very much on a 31-episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
777 and a note. Yeehaw, my dudes. It's Wednesday. Love the new ooh-woo jingle. I also feel like now we need fan art of Basil with his Canary parents. Okay. Well, let's give her that ooh-woo jingle.
Leave a rating and review, and Basil will
ooh-woo. It is fun. Yeah. Thank you very much, Palmer B.
Thank you, Palmer B. Next up, we have Aaron W.
Aaron Aaron W. comes in to produce the show for 1061. And a note, congrats on 10 years to a dynamic duo. I'm 38, been watching 5 years, and alone in my beliefs, and the online truther community is my only refuge. Gonz, would love to hear a Bible study on every single one of the books of Revelations series. LOL.
I see what he's doing there.
He's getting you. He's razzing you.
Yeah, he's making me angry.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
Come after you,
wouldn't
man.
like Gonz when he's angry. Basil gets angry emails when Gonz gets angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aaron W.
Thank you, Aaron W.
And thanks for the reminder. Our
it's coming up.
10-year anniversary.
Oh, it's next Wednesday.
Is it next
It's
Wednesday?
show day.
Have we fully concluded that it's the 16th?
It's on the Canary Cry calendar.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, March 16th will be our 10-year anniversary podcasting, Gonz.
459, episode 459.
Episode 459, yeah. Oh, man. I was going to say we should plan something cool, but we're going to leave it to the last second, and we're not going to
get it done.
So maybe the producers can think of something cool to do for episode 498. That's our official 10-year anniversary podcasting.
Wow, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much to Aaron W. there. Next up, we have Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth is on a 117 episode streak.
Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
Pocket full of sevens, and it's Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Thank you very much. And then we got Isaac G.
Isaac G comes in for a 798 and a note. It's Wednesday, and down with the old jingle. Give us more banjo.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the CanaryCry News Talk.
Yeehaw! Thank you very much, Isaac G.
And the new jingle gets the last word today.
Okay, just double checking. Yes. Okay, and that concludes our list of producers who came in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But we got a few more producers to thank who came in under the cutoff, starting with Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah, on a 62 episode streak. We've also got Veronica D on a 93 episode streak.
Oh, 93. Thank you, Veronica D. Thank you, Sir James. Sorry, couldn't thank you out loud there.
That's okay. Thank you, Jody P. coming in.
Jody P. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie U. on a 34 episode streak.
Jackie U. Thank you.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Hey.
Next, we got Runk Smash. Hey!
Thank you, Runk Smash.
Hey, thank you, Runk Smash, on a 6 episode streak, which means Runk Smash is on fire. Then we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight on a 127 episode streak.
Thank you, Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
That's right.
Hey, Tweaker! Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
We've got Doctor Who Done That on a 63 episode streak.
Thank you, Doctor Who Done That.
And we've got Gail M on a 93 episode streak.
Gail M. Thank you.
Okay, and that concludes our list of producers. I made a little bit of a whoopsie doodle. This is totally my fault. I forgot, or I didn't see, rather, that we had a note from our executive producer, Sister Sarah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we better read that.
Yes, we got to read it.
Yeah.
And whatever we can do to make that right, of course. But I do want to thank one more time our executive producer, Sister Sarah, sent a note here. Says, love you guys. You deserve it. I'm saving up for Bible school, but it seems pretty important to get it to you. Wow. Thank you.
Wow.
The giving shouldn't lessen in times like this. It should increase. Wow, what a great attitude there. Yes, that is that sort of kingdom economics.
Yeah.
When times get tough or times get weird or uncertain, the executive producership specifically tends to get a little bit less consistent. But that's some worldly thinking. So thank you for that kingdom thinking there, Sister Sarah. Different kingdom, different economy, Anyway, I definitely qualify to be a dame. Ooh. Oh my gosh. However, I'd like to ask if I can, quote, identify as a knight. I mean, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what you have in mind about that, Sister Sarah. And I got this PayPal card just so I can start a streak. Oh, that's fun. Quote, yeah, she's going to be on a streak. LOL. Oh, wait. Jingles. I want 3 of my favorite jingles.
Okay.
You pick. Make them good, Gonz. We don't know what your favorite jingles are.
Wait. So she wants us to pick her favorite jingles?
She wants, I think, us to know. I think maybe she's saying all of the jingles are her favorite jingles.
Okay.
And so we get to pick them.
Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you give us a collection, a primo top shelf collection of some of Sister Sarah's favorite jingles.
It's Newsome science, baby! Ha!
A new world order
made by the aliens.
You're under arrest for crimes against science.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Never do it, Slim Jim!
Wow, this is like a six-pack. Well, Sister
some
Sarah
throwbacks there too. The Macho Man is a jingle, a ISO that I played for no reason. Like I remember when I first got the jingle board, I was like, "Yeah, you know what else?
Never do it, Slim Jim."
Like no context whatsoever. Yeah, those are the old days.
Those were good times. Good times. But luckily, we're so professional now. Thank you very much again, executive producer Sister Sarah.
Thank you, Sister
Wonderful
Sarah.
note. Apologies, I missed it at the top of the break here.
It's okay.
But we are very impressed, affected, grateful, and blessed that you've chosen to support the show. And yeah, send me an email about your night name, and we're happy to do whatever you want.
Yep. Well, we should thank the producers.
I think that's it. Let's thank everybody for their patronage.
Take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
That's right. And this is where we usually play voice messages.
Yeah.
Let's hear the jingle.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message. For the first week since we introduced the voice messages, no voice messages. So if you want to leave us one, head on over to CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. On the right-hand side of the page, there's a green tab. Click on that green tab, and you can leave us a message right on your browser. Super easy. You could do all sorts of things. You can give a shout-out to a listener, thank a producer, leave your own Canary Cry News Talk report, or, if you're some sort of celebrity that wants to weigh in on the show in any capacity, feel free to do that. Obviously, we're not looking for any impersonations. That would be fake news. But we've had the actual Sam Elliott, the actual Liam Neeson, the actual Donald Trump, and more call in. And that's what we're looking for here. So, yeah, go do that. Leave a message whenever you want.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we better wake up. We are slowly slipping behind a schedule. So let's go ahead and wake up, and then we'll let the YouTubers know. This is your warning. This is your 30-second warning, YouTubers. You're going to need to find another location to catch the second half of the show. But let's wake up first.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
There you go. Okay, YouTube, find another place to be. We're going to get into some content next that is too hot for YouTube. So go to CanaryCry.Party, find a different location, and tune back in. Let's hit them with that goodbye jingle.
Bye, 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 bye.
YouTube.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
And they're gone.
And they're gone. Okay. What happened to the other one, too? The longer one.
Oh, I thought you didn't like the longer one.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't not like it. That's okay. Let's move on.
Well, they're gone anyway.
They're gone. They're gone.
They're not going to hear it.
They're out of here. Bye, YouTube.
I like Jason Z, the last chat from YouTube. Second half? ? Like all panicked. Scroll down, man. Scroll down.
Scroll down.
Check in the descriptions.
Find the links, bro.
Listen to the show.
Well, it might be new. Who knows?
Yeah, it's true. It's okay.
All right. Let's get into that hot content.
Hot content concerning the COVIDs.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. 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 Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19. Coronavirus.
Vaccine. Number one way.
Okay,
Speaking
of vaccine being the number one way, we've got another way, and this is coming from Fortune.com. And the headline is the U.S. is about to approve a fourth COVID vaccine that could be a silver bullet solution to the anti-vax crisis. Wow, there's a lot there, Gonz.
I just realized you changed the order of the articles.
I did move some things around.
Yes, you did.
Yes, the silver bullet solution. So this will destroy. I mean, it's kind of.
What are we, vampires? Is that what they consider anti-vax people?
I believe that's
as vampires?
Werewolf is the silver bullet.
Yeah,
yes,
close enough.
Right, and again, it's got sort of like inherent violence. What are they going to shoot us with a silver bullet? Shoot the anti-vaxxers or something? It's just a weird way to put it. And also the anti-vax crisis. It's not a crisis. It's just people who don't want it. It might not be long until a fourth COVID vaccine is available in the U.S., and it's a big deal. Novavax Inc.'s COVID-19 vaccine is on its way towards authorization from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration after formally submitting a request in late January. The company says it has resolved the manufacturing issues that had delayed their application and is now expects approval from the FDA in the coming weeks, according to reporting from the Wall Street Journal. In clinical trials first published in January 21, Novavax's vaccine was up to 90% effective in preventing severe COVID-19 infections, on par with the already approved vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna. But questions remained about the company's manufacturing capabilities that have delayed its ability to bring the vaccine to market. I find it fascinating that the clinical trials were published in January 21, which means the data for Novavax's vaccine does not include Delta or Omicron variants. It's again, like the other vaccines, only focused on the Alpha variant.
Right.
As it's so lovingly known.
Yeah.
Or wild type. The Maryland-based biotech firm has already won approval for its vaccine in Australia, India, and European Commission, and several other countries since last November. The catch is Novavax's vaccine could be embraced by much of the anti-vaccine crowd that has been reluctant to get jabs
Why?
so far. Well, let me tell you why. As Fortune reported in January, the Novavax vaccine has accumulated a large number of fans known as
Let's go, Novavax.
Fans. They've got fans.
Novavax.
Maybe Novavax has an OnlyFans account. That's out there. These fans are known as Nova stands.
Oh my gosh.
Which is, I have to believe that this is created by a PR firm. Because you know the Stan, you know what Stan.
I know.
You're in with the Gen Zers.
I am aware. Yeah,
you're the most Gen Z boomer around, Gonz.
Yep.
For those boomers who don't know, a Stan is sort of it refers to a fan, but it's more of like an obsession, almost romantic.
Right.
When you're a stan of something, Nova Stan. In the U.S., eagerly awaiting its approval and posting about it on social media platforms like Reddit and Twitter. Wow, people love this Novavax vaccine. Quote, to U.S. citizens in the United States of America. To U.S. citizens in the United States of America.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
We got to be more aggressive, a user said on Reddit about Novavax's approval in the U.S. Enough is enough. Quote, we're told we would have Novavaxes by mid last year, and we are waiting to still get it, wrote another user who said they had refused vaccination until Novavaxes is approved.
They have like Novavax loyalists just waiting.
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying? The Novavax loyalists are the anti-vaxxers?
They say that there is a subdivision.
Okay.
Yeah, a subdivision of anti-vaxxers, quote unquote, which is hilarious because it's like, it's both using the propagandistic term anti-vaxxer, which is created by the authorities to demonize those who aren't getting vaccinated. But if there are anti-vaxxers who will get Novavax's vax, so they're not really anti-vaxxers. They're pro-Novavaxers, Nova stands.
It's so interesting how
it's ridiculous.
mRNA technology has created these like teams or like piles.
It's not even the tech. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It isn't the technology, though. It's the big pharma propaganda spending outlet and social engineering. I mean, this is all the division is created because of the profitability of the pharma companies, who are the sort of they're the root out of which all of this anti-vax propaganda, anti-vax hate, anti-vax, labeling, tearing families apart, all comes from Pfizer and Moderna, incentivizing news outlets and politicians to make it evil to not get vaxxed. Again, you're bumping up against this. It is in the theme that we've been exploring, where these media outlets are realizing that they've created this sort of horrible society that we live in, and they're trying to give people ways out of being horrible after they've sort of convince them and incentivize them to be horrible. Rollout of the vaccine could help efforts to vaccinate many who have been hesitant to receive the mRNA vaccines from Pfizer or Moderna, which skeptics have feared were developed too rapidly and without long-term data. Notice no mention of Johnson & Johnson, which is not mRNA. Why does Novavax's vaccine have so many fans? Novavax's protein-based vaccine uses a technology that's been around for decades and has long been used in flu shots and vaccinations in babies against hepatitis B. Yeah, it's safe. They give it to babies. Quote, Novavax's vaccine offers something different. It is based on well-understood protein-based technology that has been used for decades in vaccinations like flu, HPV, and shingles. All three of those vaccines have had checkered histories, but okay, said Sylvia Taylor, Novavax Senior Vice President of Global Corporate Affairs, in January interview with Fortune. Yeah, that's great. Take it from the Vice President of Global Corporate Affairs about how good the vax is. They couldn't get a doctor. They couldn't pay a doctor some exorbitant amount of money to speak to them?
Just a couple paragraphs down, it says, doctors seem to agree.
Oh, yeah, right. As of March 6, 76.5% of the U.S. population had received at least one dose of a coronavirus vaccine. Remember when having one dose meant you were unvaccinated?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that
not
still
anymore?
The case? No?
Yeah, this article
implying.
implying that, 76% of people have had a dose. That's great. While 65.1 were fully vaccinated, according to Mayo Clinic's vaccination tracker. 65.1 is about 20% lower than Biden keeps saying. Biden keeps saying over and over that like 80 or 85% of people are fully vaccinated. So is Mayo Clinic lying, or did Biden tell a fib in his State of the Union address? Doesn't matter. The Novavax vaccine could help improve that number. In an interview with CNN late last year, Novavax CEO Stanley Erck said the primary market for his company's vaccine was people who have been hesitant to get other vaccines. Just like,
wait, who hasn't gotten the vaccine? Those people. Let's get them our vaccine. We're the cool vaccine. We're going to start a troll farm and call them Nova stands.
Yeah, it's probably a Russian bot farm, Russian troll farm. Where the Nova stands.
If we're cutting, with all the Russian sanctions, that's a problem. That might be an issue for Novavax.
Yeah,
they might have to spin up a local crew.
Soon Russia's main export will be, online misinformation. No longer oil. So I think it's funny they're calling it primary market. Again, it's the CEO. These are the terms in which they talk, but it's not about health. It's not about helping people. It's not about ending a pandemic. It's about making money. It's a primary market. Doctors seem to agree. Quote, it's important to offer a choice. Oh, is it Karina Rodriguez? Didn't seem that important for the past 2 years, but okay. Chief of Infectious Diseases at the University of South Florida told the Wall Street Journal, maybe it will not completely eliminate the issue of vaccine hesitancy, but it will help people who are not comfortable going with an mRNA vaccine.
See, it's the mRNA
now
thing.
It's just, it is. Now it's just people who are not comfortable with it. It used to be, unvaccinated dogs that want to kill your family. But now they're just people who are not comfortable with mRNA. Not right-wing extremists, terrorists, January 6th militias who don't want the mRNA. Now it's just people not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So we continue to see the 180 narrative spin, but also they're really hoping that this that Novavax can turn things around. They've been waiting a year.
Over a year
for their they've missed the gold rush, and they're trying to
I know. Yeah, I mean the only people left the only people left are the people that are hesitant, so they're like, well, let's just bend the marketing to that, get these people
And I would say, just real quick, they're not wrong. I mean, there is some contingency
of course,
not anti-vaxxers, but the vaccine skeptical.
Sure.
There are some people who will be happy to have this come out.
Well, I've seen
and surely it does reduce some skepticism, specifically around the mRNA technology. That's my biggest concern, but certainly I'm not going to run out to get this also speedily created vaccine.
Right. And so we've seen the overproduction of vaccines, and the countries like Africa saying, please stop sending us vaccines, and Biden saying, we're going to keep sending vaccines to other countries.
Yeah.
And that whole thing. Well, Moderna, according to CNBC, headline, Moderna reaches preliminary agreement to build COVID vaccine manufacturing plant in Africa. And I won't go through the article.
Great.
I'll read the bullet points. Moderna plans to invest $500 million to produce messenger RNA or mRNA, the technology underlying its COVID vaccines, at the facility in Kenya. It could fill COVID vaccine doses at the Kenya facility as early as 2023. subject to demand, according to the company.
That's hilarious.
Moderna has faced criticism from groups such as Oxfam International and Doctors Without Borders for not sharing its vaccine technology with middle and lower income countries. So again, this is like, you're not complying with the system. So it's like, okay, well, we'll put a factory there and promise the locals there that we're going to give them jobs and stuff. But then when the pandemic's over, they're not going to have a job, but we'll have a building there. And then,
day late and $1 short, really.
Yeah, seriously. So it's dare say pathetic that they're doing this.
It makes me question if they're actually going to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is just like, oh, you better plan on putting some money there, or otherwise you're going to be kicked out of the team kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it could simply just be like one step in the colonization of Africa by whatever, Western thing. Western medical sort of panopticon, medical tyranny. Could just be sort of one move in that strategy.
It's been a big topic that we've been covering, and we'll get to another point on that later on in the episode with the metaverse. But moving on here, we're running a little short on time. The Washington Post had a headline here. Florida's top health official says healthy children should not get coronavirus vaccine. The policy.
The top health official.
Yeah. Florida's governor and chief health official announced a new state policy Monday that will recommend against giving a coronavirus vaccine to healthy children regardless of their age. A policy that flies in the face of recommendations by every medical group in the nation.
No, not every.
Well, of course, it's Washington Post.
Yeah.
The announcement came at the conclusion of a 90-minute forum that Governor Ron DeSantis hosted in West Palm Beach. Quote, the curtain close on COVID theater was live streamed from a studio with hundreds of participants appearing on a towering screen behind a panelist. Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo prefaced the change by deriding the school closures and mask and vaccine mandates issued by states since the start of the pandemic as terrible, harmful policies. And it goes on. We get it. Yeah, of course. Florida is like the only place that's kind of making a little bit of sense out there with all this stuff. And then it brings me to this article. You got something to say on that before I move on?
No, I wanted to read this next one, though.
Okay, go ahead.
I won't do the whole thing, but it is just so good. I mean, in this context of the children getting masked while Florida is officially saying that, vaccinating kids of all ages is not great. Going over to your neck of the wood, Gonz.
I know. It's like a parallel universe over here.
Oh, my gosh. NewYorkPost.com. California officials raided preschool, interviewed 2-year-olds over mask policies. California state regulators conducted an investigation at a San Diego preschool and privately interviewed children as young as 2 without their parents' consent and about their masking practices. Officials with the California State Department of Social Services visited all 3 locations of Aspen Leaf Preschool in January after receiving a complaint that the school was not enforcing the state's mask mandate.
These parents around here, man.
Get them! According to the CDSS's response to a complaint by the preschool owner, Howard Wu. According to the... there's some racism in there. It's Howard Wu. You get... What is he? Asian? Oh, we got to go raid his preschools. According to the CDSS letter, which Wu shared with Fox News Digital, officials with the agency's Community Care Licensing Division entered the 3 preschool locations on January 9th, separated the children from their teachers, and interviewed them privately about their masking practices. In his complaint to the agency, Wu described the investigation as a, quote, simultaneous multi-school raid that resulted in unnecessary and inappropriate child interviews. That's not a great quote for you, social services. Not a great quote. Quote, every family we heard from after the inspections were furious about the interviews, Wu told Fox News Digital. Quote, we were open the whole pandemic about not masking children and the reasons why. The policy was on our website. Put simply, the mask guidance says children can not mask when eating and sleeping. In full day childcare, that's 3 hours. So masking at other times offers no health benefit. All the families, except one in January, supported the policy. Wu also argues that the CDSS does not have the authority to enforce a mask mandate instituted by another agency, in this case, the California Department of Health. Quote, we believe in good faith that the agency doesn't have jurisdiction to enforce another agency's mask guidance, he said. They could have issued us a citation in 5 minutes and let us take our challenge up through the proper channels. The simultaneous multi-school raids and child interviews just felt like a power play. In its response to Wu, the CDSS said it holds the authority to, quote, enter and inspect a licensed child care facility at any time with or without advance notice to secure compliance with or prevent a violation of state laws, as well as, quote, interview children without prior consent and, when necessary, conduct the interviews in private. Quote, based on their personal observations and interviews of the facility director, staff, and children, CCLD staff determined that the licensee failed to ensure that the staff and children, blah, 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 don't care. So, yeah, you can just imagine this sort of scene where jackbooted California social services thugs kick down the door of 3 different preschools, separating children, scaring children, separating them from teachers, and then, handcuffing them to a table, shining a light in their face on a little 2-year-old who's like, does a teacher make you wear masks? Answer me.
I feel like there's something to the story that we're not being told. And I don't know. I just get this gut feeling that this had something to do with perhaps one of the the CCLD or whatever, CDSS, Child Department of Social Services. I don't know. It feels like a flex of some kind.
Well, that's what that's exactly right.
I know,
it's a show of power.
I know, but
they're
for what
clear.
purpose?
There's no reason to ask to interview children. They say right on their website, our children don't wear masks.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things where I feel like there's something else underneath the story here that would cause this person or whoever is in charge to take these drastic actions. And I don't know, when there's children involved, it always makes you kind of wonder, like,
a lot of it is sort of like, the social engineering, is normalizing this weirdness for children. There was a parent who said, I do not feel this interview served my child's safety or well-being, wrote one parent, quote, and I believe it may have given a harmful impression about her obligations to speak with strange adults in private without known caretakers present. Yeah, it's just weird.
No,
man.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like there's some kind of threat going on to somebody. I don't know.
Totally. But absolutely.
Again, we don't know the full context, but if we're going to speculate, and clearly we're speculating, I feel like there's some part of the story where we don't know publicly. It's probably not pretty. And there's some kind of reasoning that pushed
and the fact that it was social services makes it even that much more sketchy.
It's more sketchy, right?
Why not send a cop? Why not have a cop go in and start asking questions? If you really don't believe the website or something, again, they're very clear about their masking in the school. It was a show of power. It was a show of force, and it was California trying to act like a big, tough big brother, especially because the state mandate for children over 2 it ends on March 11th. So it's like, there's no reason for this. It was some sort of weird psychological power play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's for the kids or the parents, perhaps the parents, it's probably mainly
that's what I'm saying. Could it have been
who agree with that policy sending their kids there? Something.
There's something there. I'm pretty convinced, but who knows? Bottom line, horrible. Just on the surface of like what happened. This is not
California does not get any better.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a second break here.
Let's
if you're
do
ready.
it. Let's check out some art, baby.
Take a break.
It is a little laggy on the screen there. I was checking out how it looks.
What are you playing that through a browser this time?
Yeah, full screen browser, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is our second break here. We consider Canary Cry News Talk to be a place for therapeutic reflection of our troubling world, and we encourage producers to express it so we can process it together through art, music, jingles, many things that make us laugh or cry or a little bit of both, usually both. So we like to do that here. We're going to thank producers who came in with their talent. And to start things off, we are going to thank some artists. No. Audio producers.
Oh.
Audio production.
And we just got one thing here from producer Jonathan F. Okay. And it's a potential new politics jingle.
Oh.
And it goes something like this.
What's the truth? The world is controlled by shadowy elites and shape-shifting lizard people.
Not bad.
Yeah, not wrong.
Not bad.
Not bad, not wrong.
I kind of like it as a wrap-up to the politics segment.
Yeah, a little outro jingle.
It's got that, the static sound at the end there, kind of.
Yeah, the like transmission over
transmission
feel.
Cut, yeah. Perfect. All right,
cool.
There you go.
Love Thank you, Jonathan F.
Appreciate it. Now let's do some art.
One art, please.
And we are going to start off with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And new format here. Full screen on the art.
Ooh.
Yeah. For those of you watching. Yeah, we have a piece here from producer Allie. Dame Allie. And apparently I didn't get the note.
Yeah, do we?
Wait, I'm confused.
I don't see a note, and I don't see a. Oh, there it is. Is this it?
Oh, that was the old one.
Looking at the Melinda French Gates.
Oh yeah, that was last episode.
That was last episode.
Not have art from Allie?
Oh my gosh, it's possible.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we should check the Proton Mail. Let me do a quick look.
Sure. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Nope. Okay. I think. Dame Allie is on a break today.
Okay.
She deserves it.
Yeah. If anybody deserves a break, it is Dame Allie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, there it is. That's Melinda Gates from last episode. But let's move on. Sir Dove.
One art, please, from Dove.
And Sir Dove comes with a note that says, "Peace for this week's sheet of players for the upcoming 2022 NWO Fantasy League draft. We've got 2 celebrities and 2 young whippersnappers in the world of politics. Hope you guys like and keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins."
That's right. And we've got we've got 4 more characters for the New World Order Fantasy League draft. Listen up, drafters. We've got, starting out with leader of the squad, age 32, location, in quotes, the Bronx, specialty, mixology. That sounds about correct. Some stats and info here. Proud graduate of Yorktown High School in Westchester County, where she went by Sandy Cortez, voted most desirable by Republican politicians in 2021. Oh, that's hilarious. Skimming off the top, here's how she gets some points in the league here. 6 points, any article about politicians funneling campaign money into their own pockets. Yeah, she's a pro at skimming off the top. There you go. That's the leader of the squad. Thank you very much. Next up, we've got Pete Davidson's favorite politician, age 30. So this is what's this guy's name? Daniel. Who's the guy with the eye patch?
Yeah, eye patch guy.
Isn't it Dan Crenshaw?
Crenshaw, yeah.
Dan Crenshaw. He's Pete Davidson's favorite politician, apparently. Age 37, location Texas. Specialty, perceived sincerity. Oh, yeah. Some stats here. Daddy Klaus named him as one of the WEF's Young Global Leaders in 2019. Graduated from Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. 6 points. Any article on Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, or Boeing? I think I need to go deeper into Crenshaw. I don't know the connection between the military-industrial complex, except for, well, he was a soldier of some kind there. That's where he lost his eye. And then he was sort of this like conservative sort of icon.
Champion, an icon.
For a little bit. And then turns out he's a World Economic Forum young global leader, like Justin Trudeau. They have Daddy Klaus. They both listen to Daddy Klaus, apparently. And what's the connection between Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and Boeing? Oh, there was that moment recently where he yelled at a teenager for questioning his faith in Jesus because I forget what it was about. I think maybe it was about the abortion law in Texas or something.
We got to catch up on our Crenshaw drama.
Yeah, we got to catch up on the Crenshaw, but he yelled at a teen at a town hall or something, and did not get received well. Next, we've got Whoopsies. It's Whoopsies Goldberg here. Age 66, location NYC, specialty opinions. Was reformed of her anti-Semitism after a 2-week suspension from ABC. Yeah, that was her Holocaust comment on The View. Joins co-host Joy and Sunny as the happiest woman on daytime television. 3 points if temporary cancel. 3 points if temporarily canceled again. It's possible.
Oh, yeah.
6 points if show permanently canceled. I am surprised that The View has not been canceled. I mean, here's the real question. When they say canceled, are we talking sociologically canceled, or the show gets canceled off of the air?
Yeah.
I guess that could be up to, translation. Next up, we've got Kardashian. 44, location Chicago, specialty staying in the news cycle.
Oh, that is true, yeah.
Yeah, some stats here. Married Kim Kardashian for her strongly held religious beliefs and God-centered life. Expert at getting Christians to voice support of him, then doing or saying something completely crazy the next week. Yeah, that is a specialty. 6 points if he drops another gospel album.
Oh, man, he's not a very good player in the...
I mean, he probably will drop another gospel album.
Yeah, but you only get 6 points if he drops another album. That's not very often, number one.
Yeah, he's dropped 2 albums during the pandemic.
Okay, but 12 points when some of these other players, you can rack them up, He's a slower gatherer of points.
Yeah, that's true. But again, this whole sheet, these are sort of mid-level occasional point getters.
Sure.
This is that balancing that we've been
right. We got to tier out the players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is like a mid-tier, maybe mid to lower point getters. Where the points are mid-level, but the chances are maybe less than, an article on China or something.
Right.
Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Excellent as always.
Thank you, Sir Dove. Next, we got a piece from Mr. Jag. It's a blue pen Kamala Harris baby. And what's this? It says, "I'm not a politically correct person."
Does she say that?
I don't know. Did she?
Yeah, I don't know either. But this is hilarious. It's Kamala Harris's cackling face on a baby's body with a cute little Kamala baby. I'm not a politically correct person. I wonder if that's a quote. I wonder if she said that before. It could have happened recently. I have not been keeping up with Kamala the past few days.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
very
There
funny.
you go. It's a
Thank
funny,
you very
funny
much,
one.
Mr. Jag.
Thank you, Mr. Jag. Okay, and then we got one from Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes. And this one comes with a note. I really like this one. It's Wednesday, my dudes, which means I got to play him the original Wednesday jingle.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. I gotta do the whole thing.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Hit me with that OG jingle, OG for life. For today's art, I have depicted the beast like a bear from Daniel's vision, Daniel 7:5. And behold, a second beast like a bear, and it raised itself up on one side, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And they said thus to it, go forth and devour much flesh. I don't have much understanding of what the interpretations of the bear might be. I always thought of Russia. Perhaps the 3 ribs are countries that were once part of a larger nation, maybe Russia, and a bear is reclaiming them, Ukraine being one of the 3 ribs. I don't buy the whole Putin wants to reform the Soviet Union thing, but maybe this verse depicts something similar. Hope you enjoy. Many blessings from the fishes.
Yes, and we have here a very dramatic depiction of the scripture there. We've got a bear, a very spooky looking sort of demon bear with glowing green eyes, holding 3 ribs in its mouth, standing among a sort of apocalyptic fiery hellscape. And standing behind the bear is a very spooky looking robed sort of reaper figure with 3 glowing eyes beneath the hood, skull hanging from its neck, a scythe in one hand, and the other hand is sort of pointing beyond the bear, so almost guiding the bear's wrath with a big, extremely long, extremely spooky, sort of knuckly, slender finger. Ooh. Thank you very much, Sir Salmons.
Yeah, and the 3 ribs, interestingly, with Russia, or with the Russian comparison there, yeah, it's definitely a possibility. But I also think that it's fascinating to consider, since, Adam, when God created Eve, Adam took a rib out and created Eve, right? Mm-hmm. So to have 3 ribs in its mouth, it's almost like there's some kind of devouring going on of flesh, which is commanded to do, that bear. In some kind of genetic tampering or some human, extra human kind of experiments, things like that. So, yeah, interesting to consider.
Apparently there's some interesting translation issues. I'm getting this from the chat. I have not heard this. Emily Arp is mentioning the rib is mistranslation. The Aramaic word is Allah actually means fangs. So that's interesting. I've not spent a whole lot of time. If the author of Daniel meant ribs, they would have written Tsela or Tsala. That's interesting. Have not looked into it. Well, there you go.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Neither have I. Gonz, I will say, though, the Dame Allie artwork has made it into the email.
Okay.
If you want to grab it.
Yeah,
there was a note, but the note did not come along with it. But we do have the art, and the art from Dame Allie is coming in hot, and it is a beautiful portrait of the one, the only Pillow Man. What is his name? Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell.
Yes, Mike Lindell is standing there in his suit, looking very stern with his, of course, his very clean hair look. And he's got a very sort of stern face on. And
he's got lizard eyes for
yes,
sure.
Yes, he's a man. You got Mike Lindell, the lizard man. And it says a Klaus action against the machines, especially toasters. Yes, Mike Lindell is bringing his Klaus action lawsuit against all machines.
Yeah, and if that's if you don't know the reference, go listen to the last episode.
Yes, that's right. He's taking some very serious action against all machines.
Yeah, all machines. All right.
Well, good. I'm glad we got that. Thank you very much, Dame Ali.
Thank you,
and
Dame
that concludes
Ali.
the art for today's show. Thank you very much to all the artists, which brings us to some microfictions.
Microfiction.
That's right. One microfiction for today's show coming from Runk Smash.
Wrong smash. Oh, wait. That's right. I forgot to fix the label.
The moon, or at least the right half of it, looks down on the Canary Hydra as he finishes assimilating the fondue bot and reboots himself to apply the upgrade. His power cycles, and he remembers the Great Pillow War with the fearsome General Lindell. General Lindell sounds like a Star Wars character.
Yeah, this is perfect. I just put Allie's Lindell art back up as part of the microfiction. We're cross-pollinating on the artwork here to make it work.
The Great Pillow War with the fearsome General Lindell definitely deserves a place in the Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Runk Smash, and well done.
Thank you very much. Okay. Is that it for this break?
That is it.
Is it wake-up time?
I think it's wake-up time.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
All right. And more buttons to press now than ever.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! What are we doing now? what are we talking about?
I'm having to
gotta
scroll all the way up. We have
got to fix that.
Get
Okay.
some automations in this document.
Yeah.
We're checking in with some Cyborg.
Okay.
Are you ready to become Cyborg?
Yeah. All right. So on Tucker Carlson, there's a guest who says that the government is herding people into a cyborg vivarium. The name is James Paulus. And yeah, it is very interesting.
Is Tucker Carlson treading on our turf?
Yes. And this guy is like...
What the heck?
This guy sounds like he watched every Facelikethesun video, all the Canary Cry episodes, and really internalized it. And came up with his own sort of verbiage to explain it all here.
You look at what makes digital technology special, and I'm not just talking about the cell phone in your hand. I'm not even just talking about the server farms, Amazon Web Services. Got a bunch of computers underground in a cool environment so they can keep all the data. I'm talking about most people's interaction with digital technology. They're interacting with something that is invisible, that is innumerable, that is interoperable, and that communicates with other entities instantaneously. Algorithms, programs, things flying through the air, Wi-Fi signals. Until about 10 years ago, these were things that had characteristics that we would only really associate with spiritual beings, with angels and demons. They can fly around. They can be everywhere. They can pass through our bodies. They can give us information, right? Suddenly we create machines, sort of things that can do these things, but we can't even see them. They fly back and forth between our devices. They talk to each other almost immediately. When 5G comes online, that means latency is going to go almost to zero. So any device connected with any other device can communicate basically like that. This is a categorical step away from what we're familiar with, and what's driving it all is the power of these machines to remember things. They can communicate, they can do it very quickly, that's powerful, but what really makes it powerful is they can record and recall things with a specificity and with a volume that is completely unlike anything human beings, even the best and brightest, most creative, most imaginative people can do. And so what does that do to us? What does that do to our sensibilities? What kind of light bulbs go off in our head as a result of the daily grind, the experience of interacting with these machines? And I think what it reveals to us is that actually imagination doesn't save us. It's one of our faculties. It's never going to go away, hopefully, but it's not going to save us. It's not a substitute for God. It's not like you can sit down, be creative, dream up some utopia, and then try to execute it in the world. and then whoever dreams best deserves to rule. That's how it was when TV was the biggest medium in the world. What happened on screen was more important than what happened off. That was then. This is now.
You got something that confused you there?
No, he's just really going all over the place. Also, I am a little mad, Gonz. Where's our Tucker invite? What is going on?
You think we're going to get on Tucker Carlson?
Well, this guy is on Tucker, and he obviously is as crazy as we are. What is this world? I mean, the full-on internet weirdos are getting to get the exposure of Tucker Carlson, the most watched, cable news show in the world in history. And this guy, come on, where's our invite? Tucker, hit me up, bro. I'll come on. I'll wear the VR helmet. Am I not a ratings machine, Gonz?
Yeah.
If you tuned into Tucker and there was a guy with a VR helmet and googly eyes, and
especially if you start pointing at Tucker, telling him we're deconstructing your nonsense.
That's just whatever. I could be a ratings bonanza.
Yeah. Well, he goes on for a little bit longer here. He's talking about our interaction with technology and how it's sort of mirroring a spiritual world and all this kind of stuff. I mean,
we do that three times a week.
We've only pontificated on these ideas for a decade.
For 10 years. Next week, 10 years. We are veterans of this information. And this hooligan gets to go on Tucker. I don't know anything. Maybe this
hooligan.
Guy's too.
rough title.
Who is this guy? What's this guy's name?
His name is James Poulos. Poulos.
James Poulos.
LOS.
LOS. Okay.
Okay. Let me
continue.
I'll have him finish his little thought here.
Imagination isn't as powerful as it used to be. And that's a huge blow to Americans who think of themselves as sort of like, well, I'll make it up as I go along. I'll improvise. Life is like jazz. America is like jazz. We can just sort of spontaneously create order. It'll be amazing. Might be messy, but we'll work out the details. All that's starting to be wrenched away from us by the fact that this technology is now rising into control, into power, where it's all about, no. The machine's got it all under control. You'll be organized into swarms, and we'll poke those swarms. And judging by the vast amounts of data that we collect about the swarms that you've been gathered into, we'll figure out how to poke you in better and better, more methodical ways until it all becomes automated. That's where we're headed. I mean, people understand that we're moving toward a social credit system in this country. And, some of the people at the top, they really, I think, are convinced that the only way we can beat China is if we build our own social credit system and if it's even more powerful than theirs. I don't think that's true, but I think, people can tell that we're being sort of herded in this direction into a kind of, cyborg vivarium. And once we get in there, it's not going to be American anymore.
And clearly, I'll spend the rest of my, however long I have, life working my very hardest to subvert any kind of system like that.
Okay, Tucker.
Yes, Tucker Carlson has been working to subvert the cyborg vivarium. Yeah, we definitely caught that from your career, Tucker. All right. So this,
anyway.
You know what this James Poulos guy has above us? He's a very what is the word? Prolific author.
There you go.
He writes lots of books. He writes lots of columns. He's got, it's just, who cares about podcasters? The authors are the ones.
I know.
That is where it is, actually. Right now, if you want to get on Tucker or in the mainstream, you got to write these books. You write books. Then you can say whatever crazy stuff you want in the books, and you can make it to the mainstream.
Hey.
Podcasters, nobody cares about podcasters yet. It's starting to change, but only podcasters like Joe Rogan and the big, huge podcasters get that kind of attention. Whereas, if you just keep writing books, eventually you can get on Tucker. All right, but that's not what this is about. Tell me more.
Well, I just think it's interesting that the whole idea of what's happening with technology and the cyborgification and the mind control and the hive mind. It's all being kind of presented on at the Tucker audience level, which is
was he pro or see? Listening to him, and I think this is the main reason Tucker had him on, is because he put the anti-technocratic vision or whatever, the opposition, in the context of nationalism. Yeah. He's saying, the cyborg vivarium, which is, I guess, sort of referring to the cyborg lithosphere, right? Something like that. Yeah. He put it in the context of, and that's not America. Humans merging with machine and the spiritual realm expressing itself in a digital space. That's not American. America won't be America anymore. And I think that's the angle you got to take if you want to. You got to have that nationalistic take to get on Tucker.
You got to get that America take. Yeah, and it is fascinating because dog, come on, Cody, come lay down. The United States is being reshaped by technology. The entire world is being reshaped by technology, and it's not so much like some of the ways in which technology will change the infrastructure of society and social constructs and things like that. I think the point is no, it's about carrying some of the values into those different structures. We've already seen that happen in the last 10, 20 years with social media, you know, where different people that had different beliefs or different worldviews are able to express it. And then it comes to the surface and, they clash and all this kind of stuff. But it all kind of came to social media. And in the same way, it'll probably continue to do that with all the technologies as we go along. And it's just important to hold up what's the value you're holding up, what's the message that you're carrying. That kind of thing is more important. And so you can be like, hey, I am, I support the American values, and then participate in this technological progress, so to speak. Right. Of course, we're stopping short of anything implanting in your body and things like that. But I'm just saying, in terms of interacting with devices and each other, using it as a communication tool, we're already there. We're already kind of doing that. So I've got his newest sort of book website open. There's some interesting stuff here. I'll let you comfort your dog while I read some of this, because I think it's funny in the sort of ways that you're talking about. There's some weird tension between what he's trying, like the position he's taking and what he's I haven't seen,
recommending.
Just before you dive in, I haven't seen anyone really take a stance that is nuanced enough to where you're sort of pro kind of the positives of the technology, but then anti some of the other things. I think the closest that we've, or at least that I've seen, are the kind of the end times believer types that are like, yeah, we're using this tech, but there's kind of a specific sort of thing that's supposed to play out with all that.
Well, and it feels like that's where he's at, but from a humanist perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is, he's either on our level and listens to the show and is fully on board, but is trying to brand it in a humanist form, because he does talk about the spiritual, parallels between the digital realm and the spiritual realm.
Right.
But listen to some of this. This is his book. It's humanforever.us. Humanforever.us. And it goes like this. Human Forever. By the way, he has a PhD in government from Georgetown University.
Ah, there you go.
He's a CIA boy.
Yeah.
He's a CIA boy and has a bachelor's in political science from Duke. Oh my gosh.
He's a blue devil.
He's
literally a devil.
Full-on operative is what it is. Yeah. So this is when the CIA, listens to our show, and then they are taking the message and recrafting it for secular. Yeah, for Tucker, for the secular audience. And here we go. Human Forever, the digital politics of spiritual war, in a scorching, searching guide to saving our souls from the digital apocalypse. So much spiritual language, but not not sort of recognizing the actual, spiritual reality. James Paulus shows how the swarm of programs and devices unleashed by our leaders has transformed our lives and defied our dreams, throwing the future into terrifying doubt, rising above the din of the discourse. Oh, he's rising above the din of the discourse, Gonz. He reveals, are we just the discourse? And he is rising above us. That must be what it is. He reveals how the first generation of the digital age can retake control of our technology by restoring our full humanity, and how their parents must save them from the new cyborg system bent on ensuring they never come of age. The funny part. Yeah, you see it? The next part of the website. NFTs are coming soon. Published on Bitcoin. Oh, okay.
I don't know why that is so funny, but it is so funny.
Hilarious. I'm so glad you saw that, and I didn't have to point it out. We got to save our souls from the techno-apocalypse and restore our humanity and rescue us from the cyborg system, ensuring we never come of age. NFTs coming soon. Bitcoin, canonic.xyz.
I like about the book. Technology once made a god of America. Now America is technology's slave. What happened, and how do we reclaim our humanity? Mm-hmm. It's like a movie.
It's it's basically a humanistic twist on what we've been doing for 10 years. And of course, here we are a week away from our 10-year anniversary. And the guy who takes our work from the CIA operative who takes our work and twists it and gets on Tucker, is releasing his book 10 years into our.
I like in his bio is about the author. It signs off with, he lives on the edge of Los Angeles. Is that like a physical edge, or is that like
living on the edge?
Anyway, okay.
There you go. Okay, so that's who this guy is.
Great. Yeah. So that's how we get on Tucker. We got to just play those cards right there.
We gotta go straight humanist, baby. No, what we need to do is go to Georgetown and Duke and get on the CIA payroll.
Oh, yeah.
And write tons of books. And that's another part of how you can tell what's going on. He's very prolific. I mean, not like too many books. It looks like he has a couple of books, but he publishes articles everywhere. And that's how you make a really effective CIA operative. You sort of influence the culture in a lot of different locations and very often.
Yep.
All right.
There was another quick article that I just wanted to mention. We won't get into the details here, but just keeping track of all this. PowerNationTV.com. New patent could allow drivers to control the car with their brain.
Yeah.
Which is great news for...
That's how we retake our humanity.
Yeah, the automatic driving really isn't working out. So, hey, let's plug our brains into the cars.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
I would like to end with a quick metaverse segment.
Okay.
Welcome to the Metaverse.
This is coming from a tweet from Meta Newsroom, of course, Mark Zuckerberg's newsroom here. They have their own newsroom.
We actually missed this back in February. I can't believe we missed it.
Yeah. And it fits in with some conversations we haven't had recently, but old school, not even old school, but if you've been listening throughout the pandemic, you've heard us talk about this. And the tweet says, step into the virtual Afro-futuristic world created by Gabe Galt and see how the metaverse can be a living museum to showcase Black history. And this, we didn't quite get into it with the Moderna factory in Africa, but what we forgot to be more explicit about was the sort of techno-colonization of Africa centering around this idea of Afrofuturism. Meaning the future is centered around Africa and equipping Africa with the technology and industry to turn it into a sort of world center, economic and cultural center.
Wakanda. We will turn it into Wakanda.
Yes, the Wakanda ideal. has been a trend and a focus of the elites for a few years now. And I believe that the Moderna factory being created, but again, not to empower Africans, by the way, is not actually to empower Africans. It's to be done by the West to the benefit of the West, using the propaganda and the what is it? The cultural power of culture war, the social engineering of culture war, rather. And so, when you talk about, Moderna didn't want to let poorer countries make their own vaccine. They fight it for 2 years, wait for the pandemic to be over, go build their own factory to build vaccines over there, making it sort of a manufacturing hub, a technology hub. Yet the ownership remains in the West, while giving the impression of empowering Africa. And we've seen this a lot. We continue to see the elites move in this direction. And of course, Meta, the metaverse, and Mark Zuckerberg don't want to be left out of it. So we got this little video here. Yeah. You want to play the video?
It's been playing in the background the whole time.
Yeah, I just watched it. Was there any
I don't want to play the audio. Or anything? No, okay. Not really, because it's just them talking about how black people are being left out of the tech conversation and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. How we need to empower Africans and those of African descent, or BIPOCs, or people of color, need to be sort of more centered in the technology realm, which is this Afro-futuristic sort of. We say Wakanda, we don't mean that in a joking way. It's just very much is the
prototype,
the metaphor. Yeah, it's the fictional prototype, or the fictional metaphor being used to give cultural power to this idea of the techno-colonization of Africa. Again, under the impression that it's empowering Africans, but in all reality, it's just sort of using them, as American corporatism loves to do, use the black community for their own personal gain, under the illusion of empowering them.
Yeah.
And so, you can no lizard person wants to be left out of this, rather.
And there was actually another article from Endpoint News that I wanted to just touch on to end the show here. It's pharma companies in the metaverse. Maybe not yet, but time to start thinking. Future use, experts say. And they talk about how Meta has released a whole slew of conversations surrounding the metaverse, and they think big pharma could use the metaverse to leverage it. It says here in the article, pharma companies could create patient communities in the metaverse, for example. Instead of talking to each other online or over Zoom, patients from all over the world can virtually sit down with others who have the same condition in a room in the metaverse and share what they're going through. It's like, okay, like a chat
group
room
therapy.
Or something. Yeah, group therapy. Okay.
Metaverse group therapy, trauma bonding.
Grosjean agreed that patient communities are a good place for pharmas to start. GlaxoSmithKline's Excedrin brand built what became an award-winning VR headset experience to simulate migraine for sufferers' loved ones.
Oh, yikes.
Interesting. Another similar example.
Empathy Box.
I'm telling you, man.
The Mercer box from... Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Yes.
Do androids?
And then, to wrap it up here, advertising is another place pharma companies may explore in the metaverse. There is historical precedent from 2005.
Pharma companies specifically?
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
From 2005 to 2010, brands flocked to Linden Labs' once popular Second Life video game to set up stores and billboards inside the virtual world. So, just like Second Life, we have the metaverse, and better get ready, Big Pharma, because you're going to be walking around as a pixelated donkey handing out mRNA jabs. All right, okay, we're done with the show. Are you happy, dog?
He needs to go potty.
He's got to go potty. I gotta go
potty. We got to zoom out of here because Cody, the World Eater, needs to go leave some world remnants on the lawn. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We're going to be back on Friday. That's March 11th. March 11th on Friday. Be here for the conclusion of this week's series of Canary Cry News Talk episodes. I do have a couple more people I want to thank, Gonz. These are producers, behind-the-scenes producers, making this show happen, and starting with our clip producers.
Thanks.
Thanks, clip producers. Yes, our current clip producers, Emsworth, Faye Liverin, and Epsilon, have been working hard the past couple days to get a whole bunch more clips out on the Canary Cry Clips channel. So you can find a link to that at CanaryCry.Party, or just search YouTube for Canary Cry Clips. We are also over on Odyssey with that Clips channel. Thank you very much to these clip producers. It means a lot. And for those out there who are interested in sharing the show with your friends and your family, but you don't think they're quite ready for the full Canary Cry episode experience, the Clips channel is chock-a-block full of great information and segments from the show, minus sort of a lot of the confusing stuff in the full show. So go check it out. They range from like 1-minute clips all the way up to 30-minute clips. And very useful information. Canary Cry Clips. Go check it out. And thank you to the clip producers once again.
Thank you very much. Okay, and then meetups.
Next. No. Timestampers.
Oh. I must have. I need to fix my notes on that then. Okay, timestampers.
Timestamp. It's hard work. Timestamp.
It is hard work, and I want to thank Jackie Yu for doing the timestamps from Monday's show. It affects so much of the Canaryverse, and it is one of those jobs that is not thought about, or it's a thankless job, except here, where we thank them. So thank you very much, Jackie Yu.
Thank you, Jackie Yu, and thank all of our timestampers. Appreciate it.
Indeed.
Now meetups.
Yes.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Birds of a feather, you know the thing. It's you got to find other listeners of the show. They're around you, we promise. All you got to do is put on those They Live goggles. And doing a meetup is kind of like doing that. You'll find out.
You got to put on the googly eyes, and the Canarians will be revealed to you.
Yeah, they'll be in color. Everything else will be black and white. If you don't see a meetup that's happening near you, be the initiator, the instigator. Put on your own. All you got to do is choose a location, figure out a date and time, make a flyer, and we will help you promote it.
Yep.
All the instructions you can find right there on CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Ciara is one of our prolific organizers of meetups. She is doing a Zoom meetup every third Saturday of every month. That is the 19th of March on this month. So look for that, 11 to 3 p.m. Pacific time. Washington Canary Cry Community Meetup is also happening on March 19th. Oh, is that the same day?
Sounds like it.
Huh. Oh, you know why? I think it's because she was trying to do... if anybody from Canada wants to zoom in.
She's going to combine the Zoom meetup with the Washington meetup.
She's creating a portal.
Yeah, yes, a techno portal.
Techno portal. So there you go. Thank you, Ciara. Find out ways to contact Ciara at CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Yep. East Texas meetup happening.
Hold on. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Jag doing the EU meetup.
Yes,
it's also a Zoom meetup on the third Saturday of every month. It'll be in more of the time zone for EU people, so you won't be left out.
Very good. Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. East Texas meetup happening on April 30th at the Dangerfield State Park. Contact Cool Runnings Mon. Right there. The email is there. Cool Runnings Mon hosting the East Texas Canary Cry meetup scheduled for April 30th, 2022. And then a week before, April 23rd.
Hold on. About the Texas one.
Okay.
I'm hearing from Adam42. He says, everyone go to the Texas one. Lots going. So the East Texas meetup promises to be a doozy. Only Texans. If it's on the East, that means Louisianans can make it. It's a whole thing.
East Side. All right. San Diego meetup happening on April 23rd at the Bergen Brewery in Carlsbad, California. Contact Meredith for that one. Again, that's San Diego, California, April 23rd. And I think that's all the scheduled ones, unless I missed something.
No, I think that's all the scheduled ones. There's been threats from many producers to put on more meetups, but nobody's quite let us know about it yet. So, anywho, go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. That's the place to be. Go check it out. Find one near you. If there isn't one near you, go ahead and put on your own. It's easy. Just commit. Make it happen, baby. It's very valuable. Zoom meetups are good, but even better are meetups in person with Canarians in your area. Good to make connections. Now that World War III is about to start and things are falling apart, you want to, start building your apocalypse team.
Yeah.
So meet people that way. CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
This is fun!
And leave some ratings and reviews. It's very important. If we get 5 or more ratings or reviews every week, the algorithms kick into high gear. Share the show with people who have never heard it before, and we'll be reading them on Friday's show. If we get 5, you'll make me go, ooh, woo. But until then, you got to listen to Gonz's grumpy uncle.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family.
Bean chili.
Bean chili. Ugly, horrible person.
That's right.
I was really off on that one.
Bean chili. Okay. There you go. I do want to thank some social media users who posted about us the past couple days. Tyler Sears 2 at Tyler Sears 2 at Zanarkend, Zanarkend, and at The Light in This One, the number 1, The Light in This One, over there on Twitter. Thank you very much. Canarians, go follow these people. Next up on Instagram, we have at Samson Ruby, SAMSON Ruby, at Samson Ruby, and at 2fishes_art. That's Sir Salmon's, one of our new prolific artists, posts all of his Canary Cry art on his Instagram channel at 2fishes_art and at Samson Ruby. Thank you very much. And hey, if you're out there, post about the show, post our links, post our show when it's live, tag us in it, or just say something nice about us. And I'd love to give you a shout out on the show. Canarians need to be following each other. So go follow these people. They will be in the show notes of this show so if you want links to that sort of thing. And there you go. Okay. Other than that, you good?
Yeah, good. Let's see if we can do this little rant in under 2 minutes. You think you can do that?
Oh, well, we're not even to the rant yet because we need to thank producers. Hey,
Okay,
folks,
all right.
if you want to produce the show, it's the only way that this show happens, and it helps disconnect us from the global theology of advertising around the world, which you want. You don't want your independent media shackled by the ideologies and the intentions of corporate profit motives. No, you want to be part of the value for value model. It's only for free thinkers and people taking personal responsibility for the future of media. And if that's you, participate in the value for value model. Become a producer of this show. There's a couple ways you can do it. Go to patreon.com/CCNT or CanaryCryRadio.com/Sampao. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. Yep, that's right. Go do it. And I want to thank the producers of this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We couldn't do it without them, and we're going to be starting with our executive producers, Sister Sarah and Dustin H. Thank you so much for doing so much to keep this show going. Of course, thanks to our supply drop producer, Brenda O. Remember, y'all, you can go to CanaryCry.Supply.com. You can get some of those sweet NFGs. That's Gonz's NFT. Cool name. Other than that, thank you to the rest of our beautiful producers, Chrissy H., Poco Jojo, Morv, Cloud Surreal, Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch, Malik W., Alex Protocol V2, BB, Palmer B., Aaron and W., Sir Scott, Night of Truth, Isaac G., Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah, Veronica D, Jody P, Jackie U, Runk Smash, Sir Casey the Shield Knight, and Doctor Who Done That, and Gail M. Thank you guys so much for making this show happen. We couldn't do it without you. And if you want to support the show, I already told you where to do it, so go do that. But if supporting the show financially is not in the cards for you, you can do so with your art, your music, your talents, whatever talent you have. Create something beautiful for the show. Send it in to CanaryCry.Radio@gmail.com. We'd love to feature it on the show, baby. If you just want to become a part of the show, want to produce the show, want to join the team, but can't do it financially or creatively, you can do so just with your time, with becoming a back-end producer. We got plenty of back-end producers that equip us and make it possible to make this show more than if it were just me and Gonz doing stuff. It is essential. It is incredibly valuable, and it allows us to do what we do, with a bigger team than if it was just Gonz and I. It's incredibly valuable, and no matter what your skills are, just send us an email. Tell us you want to get involved. Tell us about your skills, your interests, your job history, whatever, and we're always amazed that something reveals itself in a way that a producer can really help us out. And it's a great way to, give back to the Canary Cry community. Just send us an email at CanaryCry.Radio@gmail.com. Other than that, you can share the show with your friends and family. Just word of mouth is the best way to spread the show. They're now being given permission to question the mainstream narrative, to look back. They're trying to distract us with World War III so we don't notice all the shenanigans over the past couple of years. And people, if they're smart, if they're paying attention, they're taking this opportunity to allow themselves to take a look at the mainstream media, at the powers that be, and just how, honestly, we've been lied to. Mainstream media is not as reliable or trustworthy as we've been led to believe. So share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it on your social media. You don't have to do it a normal way. You can do it a weird way if you want. Some of you unique, creative individuals want to find a way to spread the show that is creative and imaginative. Don't listen to that Carlson Tucker man and his guests. What was that?
That was 1 minute into your
that wasn't
your
the rant. I haven't even started the rant yet. But you
started
can do
sharing.
Do it in a much more practical way, a much more creative way. Here's the thing. You just go ahead and jump the fence over at Area 51. They say that they have like machine guns and drones that'll come zap you and pull you away and feed you to the lions or whatever. But that's just a bunch of propaganda. Go ahead. Storm Area 51 like those teens did in 2017 or whatever. And they got a bunch of UFOs parked back there. You can actually see them. You just got to jump the fence, run about 17 miles through the death desert, and find yourself in the parking lot of the UFOs. Grab one of those suckers, zoom off to Ukraine, and after you're done sort of zapping a bunch of Russian tanks, you can go ahead and land that sucker and make a cool UFO, what do they call it? Crop circle. Make some sweet, sweet crop circles over there in Ukraine. Logo. That's right, with the Canary Cry logo, and then those news drones and those hunter-killer Reaper drones up in the sky who are claiming to not be involved in the whole thing. Just surveillance, just reconnaissance. But suddenly there will be picture after picture, video after video, streaming online and on the cable news about the new UFO sightings and the crop circles left behind. And what's that? That's right, reverse Google search on the image of the crop circles will reveal Canary Cry News Talk, and people will listen all over the world and realize that the world is not what it seems, and you will be responsible for that. Then zoom off in that UFO, because the UFO police will be coming after you. And you don't want to know what they do to grand theft UFO committers. So just zoom off, hide behind the moon, and everything will be fine. And we'll see you when you get back, baby. We like to call it rattling cages. And if you have any other instructions, go ahead and just ask. We'll be happy to tell you. Then all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Any last words, Gonz?
No, I think that's it. That's a good show. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, producers. Thank you, executive producers. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, everybody. You make my favorite podcast possible. And I really like the UFO crop circles you've left in a beautiful new parking lot of Russia, Ukraine. Again, this is quite possibly the most poorly timed Russian accent I've ever done, but very insensitive to all of the horrible things going on over there. But thank you for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Wow, you really got stuck there. You committed.
This is me. This is how my real voice. This reveals. Basil has been KGB operative full time.
Oh, okay.
Space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space lane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward. On board, the passengers experienced a 3 Gs of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
All you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
Previous anchor.
We have Basil. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space, children in the cosmos, with your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
Previous anchor.
It's COVID-19. 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 COVID-19.
COVID-19.
COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19. Come down. COVID-19. 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 COVID-19.
going to do? Burn!
I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the pit of destruction and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many will see and put their trust in the Lord. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust, who does not turn to the proud, to those who go astray after a lie. You have multiplied your wondrous deeds and your thoughts towards us, O Lord. None can compare with you. I will proclaim and tell of them, yet they are more than can be told. In sacrifice and offering you have not delighted, but you have given me an open ear. Burnt offering and sin offering you have not required. Then I said, Behold, I have come. In the scroll of the book it is written of me. I delight to do your will. Your law is within my heart. I have told the glad news of deliverance in the midst of many. Behold, I have not restrained my lips, as you know, O Lord. I have not hidden your deliverance within my heart. I have spoken of your faithfulness and your salvation. I have not concealed your steadfast love and your faithfulness. As for you, Lord, you will not restrain your mercy from me. Your steadfast love and your faithfulness will ever preserve me. For evils have encompassed me beyond number. My iniquities have overtaken me, and I cannot see. They are more than the hairs of my head, and my heart fails me. Be pleased, O Lord, to deliver me. Let those be put to shame and disappointed altogether who seek to snatch away my life. Let those be turned back and brought to dishonor who delight in my hurt. Let them be appalled because of their shame. But may all who seek you rejoice and be glad in you. May those who love your salvation say continually, Great is the Lord. As for me, I am poor and needy, but the Lord takes thought for me. You are my help and my deliverer. Do not delay, O my Lord.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo.
State minority.
I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. Get vaccinated. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. Feeding more. I'll keep the cameras on in my people's zoo.
Armageddon's on the way. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
You, in my people's zoo.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Feeding more. They all want to share their dead. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Feeding more. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. They all want to share their dead. They all want to share their dead. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. Give me a break. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. In my people's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.